Coming to you from Final Third Cigar and Whiskey Lounge in Ingalls, Indiana, Indiana's exclusive Aladino Cigar Lounge. It's Final Third Friday.
Welcome back to Final Third Friday. I'm Rob.
I'm Isaiah, and we got a special guest with us today, Mr. Indiana Bourbon, Dirk Fentz.
Yes, thanks for having me.
No, thanks for being on. If you are on Instagram or Facebook and you're into the bourbon world in Indiana, you probably already know this guy. He does a lot of great fundraising and bottle releases, and we're going to talk about that a little bit today. So we're excited to do that. Also want to do a quick shout out. We signed a sponsorship with 7 Strong brand.
Yeah.
And here in a little while, Isaiah's going to tell you a little bit about their brand and where to find them and all that good stuff, because it's on his phone now.
It is on
he's
my
going to do
phone
that.
now. Great.
They're a new sponsor, and we want to welcome them to the family as well. Today, we're going to be smoking the 601 Yellow. This is the new one from Espinosa with a San Andreas wrapper and a Nicaraguan binder and filler.
Yeah. And what we're drinking today, well, looks like we'll be getting into a couple things.
We're going to be. The pairing is going to be
with the Final Third pick, Starlight Rye finished in port barrels. This is a 4-year rye, 105.6 proof. It does the Midwinter Nights Dram thing. So if that's something that interests you, this is the pour for you. So
what I'll say is make sure you get fairly close to the mic. It doesn't pick up great.
Okay.
Have you had this one before? I can't remember
I
if you
have.
ever had it.
I
Okay,
sampled
okay.
it here. It's a good one.
Okay, good. I couldn't remember if you had that one. Have you had all 3 of our picks now that are up there? The Peach Street. Have you had that one? That's our latest.
Yes. I've got
Okay.
that one.
Okay.
Yeah, real good stuff.
yeah, totally.
Cool. And if you need more, just grab it.
Right on.
Go.
Well,
So yeah, that'll be our pairing for the day. But Dirk's brought a few nice things for us to try through. These are all picks that you've done?
No, none of these are my picks.
None
These
of
are all
these are your
just
picks.
some things I know if you guys have had before or not. So,
Okay.
The Lost Barrel 7-year-old bourbon from Bear Wallow Distillery. I've got the now Four Finger Distillery wheat whiskey, 6-year-old. And then the 18th Street Distillery 4-year-old bourbon. This is the one that was released at Costco earlier this year, or
awesome.
last year. Created quite a bit of buzz. Real good stuff. And then Hard Truth Sweet Mash Rye, the chocolate malt.
Awesome.
Give that a shot.
Cool. So did 1205 change their name?
They did. They
Okay.
did. They are now the Four Finger Distillery.
Okay.
If you don't know the story behind that, the
I
guy-
do, but tell us, please.
The distiller there, they were building the distillery. He cut his little finger off, so now he's got a hand with 4 fingers. Now they are the Four Finger Distillery.
That's
Wow.
funny.
Pretty
So
cool.
why did they change it? Just because they changed their address? And it's
I'm
not
not
1205
sure.
anymore?
I'm not sure exactly why they changed, but I like it. I like the
I do
change.
too. That's
I like
pretty
the
cool.
fun story behind it. So,
Yeah.
Four Finger.
Well, everybody has to have a story to tell, and that's a good one
That's
to tell
right.
yeah,
for sure. So
absolutely.
Quite a sacrifice there.
no doubt, no doubt.
Yes.
That is.
Yeah.
So
On the cold draw of this cigar, there's quite a bit of, it's almost that raisin or fig type sweetness and chocolate.
very raisiny too.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Which I would expect from a San Andreas over Nicaraguan. So
That's what I would expect too. but-
so I know you're not smoking today with us, but we're gonna go ahead and light up.
Yeah.
So one thing I do want you to do, I mean, do you have like a little bit of a stump speech on what you do with Indiana bourbon, and maybe start getting into talking a little bit about that?
Yeah. It's been about 6 years ago now. We started the Instagram page, Indiana Bourbon. We thought at the time there was a lot of younger distilleries in Indiana since you couldn't distill really until 2013. So we wanted to kind of start spreading the word on what Indiana was doing in the spirits world. We thought there was kind of a hole in the marketplace. Nobody was really kind of promoting them as a whole. And I saw a lot of potential in what was going on. So we thought, well, let's start this page, maybe get a few hundred people to talk whiskey with, you know, over time. And somehow it just kind of grew, rapidly grew to about 30,000 some now. So,
Wow.
Yeah.
and we still do what we started out doing. We want to promote Indiana distilled spirits. They have all got significantly better as time goes on, as we all know. With
That's
whiskey.
for sure, yeah.
Yeah.
It takes time to make good whiskey. You can't just produce it, and it just happens like that. So we've got whiskey now up to the 8-year range in this state, which is phenomenal.
It
And
is
some of the
awesome.
stuff, you hit 4 years is kind of a magical number, 4 years and more. So most of our distilleries here are hitting that mark these days, if not a little bit past that. So getting to promote these guys is even easier than it ever was before because it's really good whiskey now.
So when you were starting off, you were like, well, I guess I'm just spreading the word. I don't like to drink it,
hey,
but
we've got whiskey here and it's aging, everybody. So
eventually it will be okay.
right. Yes. Yeah. It was trying to find potential in something super young.
Yeah.
And we think we did that with a few brands, and some brands have surprised us. The older they got, they just got phenomenal. So we're quite proud of a lot of the distilleries here in Indiana, and that we're going to keep pushing them as much as we can.
That's cool.
Good.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
That's awesome.
And even more so than just that, I know you do a lot with the End to Watch program and some of those other things. Can you get into that a little bit too?
Yeah. People don't really realize I was a bartender for 3 years, the main event in Indianapolis. Then I got hired in the police department at Brownsburg. So I've been doing that for 17 years now. So I've seen a lot of things over my career, been close and kind of touched by a lot of line of duty deaths around this area, unfortunately. So I thought, we've got this following, let's try to do something positive with it. So police officers as a whole are kind of this group of degenerates and fun people that like to have whiskey and like drink bourbon and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I thought this is the perfect time to kind of pair the two communities because they kind of intermingle anyway. So last year when Officer Noah Chavez got killed in the line of duty, it was kind of one of those things. It all came together for me. I thought, this is our moment now to start doing something positive with the things we've kind of built. So getting to meet his family, and his father now is a reserve officer at Elwood Police Department, which is an unbelievable thing.
Wow.
Kind of a tribute to his son to kind of keep that legacy going. And then when Sierra Burton got shot and killed, we knew that, okay, this is something we're going to sustain, and we're going to raise funds and have money available for these families. So what we're doing now is trying to keep, we started a 501c3, the End to Watch Legacy Fund, and we're going to try to keep about $10,000 set aside, so any line of duty death, we can cut the family a check immediately.
Oh, that's awesome.
And there's a lot of insurance and things that goes into line of duty deaths, but those things take time. When you lost a loved one, last thing you want to worry about is how am I going to pay my mortgage or something like that. So, we're going to do that for them.
Good.
Awesome.
We've raised almost $50,000 in the first 9-10 months of this
Wow.
organization so far. So, and thanks to you guys for hosting, being a place for people to come and like kind of gather and pick up some of these things we're doing. Means a lot to us. Couldn't do it without you guys.
Well, I tell you what, the people that you send over here genuinely treat the shop well.
They really
they
do.
support as well. So
that's awesome, and that's what our hope is. We want,
which doesn't happen with every club that does pick up here.
No.
yeah, we've been fortunate to have a lot of good people follow over the years. People that kind of interact quite a bit. And so the police world is really tied into the whiskey world anyway. They just didn't realize, the network has become so big now, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And, hopefully we raise money and never have to give it out again. That'd be great. But unfortunately, we know the world we live in that it's going to happen again. So we're going to be prepared for that. So we're doing barrel picks and raising funds through auctions and some swag. We got a lot of stuff working on, challenge coins and bottle tags and all that stuff. So, but yeah, I mean, that's what we're doing right now. And hopefully it continues.
Yeah. Well, thanks for doing all that too. I mean, thanks for, you serving our communities too. We have a really good presence of officers and detectives and firefighters, all the first responders coming in here all the time.
Yeah.
And I love being able to provide a comfortable place for people to come and relax and get away from the stress of your day-to-day, every day.
Yeah. And it's something we need. And I think drinking, pouring one out for your buddies, stuff like that, something goes back as far as spirits go back.
Yeah.
So I think it was a perfect combination. Kind of drink one for your buddy, your fallen hero, stuff like that. So,
Yeah. Well, cheers to you, buddy.
Cheers.
Thank you, guys.
No, thank you. Yeah, we like to cheers because that means we drink more.
Yeah, absolutely.
So right off the light on this cigar, it's quite a bit of that almost toast note and chocolate. What do you get on the Retro Hill, Rob?
Definitely get some. It's not black pepper. It's more red pepper and baking spices.
Yeah.
Is what I'm getting there. And with the whiskey, it just brings out some of that fruit note.
It definitely does.
Kind of almost like a chocolate and I don't know what fruit, maybe like a cranberry or something like that.
I can see that.
Acidity to it.
Yeah.
But, very, very good combo. I love the retro on this thing because I do like that nice spicy retro hell on it too. So
yeah, absolutely. That's good.
what do you get on this whiskey, man? How do you like this?
I love it. I love it. I mean, we've talked plenty of times about finished Starlight bourbon and rye and all that stuff. some of the best whiskey there is out there. And they're not just taking what people think you're going to finish whiskey. You're going to take bad whiskey, try to make it good. They take good whiskey and make it great. So, huge fan of this one.
Good. And you've done several Starlight
Yes.
barrel picks.
Yes, quite a few.
I know you've done a lot of the cigar batches. Have you
Yep.
done other ones besides? I think you have.
Yeah, we've done a rye. We did a rye together.
Yeah.
That's
ATS
right,
Indie
that's
rye,
right.
which is one of the best ryes out there. Phenomenal pick, I think.
I think it's still sitting around.
Yeah, which is unbelievable to me.
Well, it's because Elite Beverages kind of screwed the pooch and only let people buy one
I do remember
one per
that.
person per day
Yeah.
for like the first week of it. And it's like, this is a Starlight Rye.
Yeah.
Like, there is no secondary value
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
Yeah.
But it's phenomenal stuff.
Yeah.
But we've done a French oak, part of the fundraiser we did a month or two ago.
Yeah.
That's right.
Maybe my favorite bottle so far was that French oak.
Really?
And then a little sneak peek here. We just picked a half barrel of maple syrup finish.
Oh,
That's
nice.
going to come out probably in June sometime. So nobody
bourbon?
knows that yet. Yes. Yeah, bourbon.
I keep trying to talk them into doing a maple finish rye. I don't know why. I haven't seen it yet. But
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think I have one at home.
Well, and I think the one we got here was the first port finished rye that they had released.
It was in the first run that they
first
did.
run
yeah.
that they did, and I think they've released a couple since.
Yeah.
But I mean, they're always experimenting. I'm sure they probably are experimenting on that somewhere.
But it's a lot easier to sell a bourbon than it is a rye.
It is.
It is.
It is.
Yeah, it is.
Believe me, I
That
know.
being said, Starlight's ryes are better than their bourbons.
They are. Yeah.
I agree.
I like
yeah.
both, but the rye is the best rye going.
Yeah.
Like it really is.
And I do like their maple finish. I've got one of the first maple finishes that they put out that I know of,
Mm-hmm.
and I really like it. I mean, it's definitely for a sweet
Yeah.
fan.
Yeah.
I mean, the one I got was very, very sweet.
Mm-hmm.
It was almost too sweet for him. He didn't really.
Yeah.
I mean, you like the flavors.
Yeah.
It was just way too sweet.
I believe they've changed where they were getting the syrup from, the
Okay.
barrels from. So I think and it's what I love about Starlight is they start out good, but then they kind of like they maneuver things to make it even better on the next.
Well, they're
you know
always
what I
just
mean? So,
trying stuff.
Yeah.
And it's kind of great that they're not just stuck in the rut. And
Yes.
Like, here's a
Yes.
Starlight port finish. It's
Yeah.
going to
Right.
taste exactly like the
Right.
rest of our
Right.
port
Right.
finishes.
yeah, they're all different, and I do think they're getting better. So this is my favorite maple. When we tried that barrel, I was like, this is it. This
Yeah.
is the one right
Yeah.
here.
Well,
So
I'm about to buy one of those from you. That's something
I know.
I love maple
Absolutely.
bourbon.
That's cool. That's cool. So, who are some of your? So let's talk underrated Indiana distilleries. Who are you gonna put on people's radar that they need to watch out for?
Well, I think we've all heard
like
of
I'd say Starlight, Old 55, Hard Truth are at the top of the Indiana chain
Yeah.
right now.
I think my what I always say when someone says like, "What's the best kept secret in Indiana whiskey?" It's Bear Wallow for me. I love what they're doing. Their rye has won my rye awards a handful of years over the last few years, and now their bourbon's getting, like I said, we got 7-year-old on this table right here, and it's great stuff. So it's a small place down there, Southern Indiana. They don't do a whole lot of social media stuff, but their whiskey's phenomenal. I think.
I agree.
And they're not far from Hard Truth, are they?
No, and they're just a
10
few
minutes, maybe?
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe that. And they sell like their flavored moonshines and things are phenomenal. It's not everybody's thing, and it's a lower proof moonshine, not like something came right off the still. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's phenomenal stuff. Really good. It's natural flavors, not artificial stuff, and it's really good down there. I love it.
That's awesome.
I made a visit down there too and got to try through some of their older stuff. And my cousin bought me a bottle of the Gnawbone cast strength
Yeah.
and brought it up here, and it was I think 5 or 6 years that one was, and it was great. I'm like, why have I not had this before?
Yeah, yeah.
So that's one that I've actually had on my radar to possibly do a pick with later down the road too.
yeah.
People that have it love it. They just say, well, how come I never knew about this before? Most people don't even, like, they're pretty big on Instagram, never heard of Bear Wallow Distillery. I said, man, they're the best kept secret out there right now. And I think second to them would be 18th Street Distillery, way up north. I've actually never been to the distillery yet. I keep putting it on my list to do, and then we had a child and all these things go on, you know what I mean? So we haven't made the trip up there. But they're doing a lot of good
They're
stuff.
in Hammond,
Yes.
Yeah.
And
which I don't even
find-
know where that is. Past
I know it's like 2.5 hours from here. So
Yeah, it's probably 20 minutes to half an hour south of Chicago. I think something like that,
yeah,
isn't it?
something like that. Yeah. But you'll find them in Costco now. They're doing a lot of finishing, kind of like Starlight. So great up and coming distillery.
I think the one that I had that I've tried was a younger one. I don't think it was. This one you said is 4 years.
Yes, 4 years
I
old.
think the one I had was their first release at 2 years, and it
Yeah.
was okay.
Yeah.
But You got to get to 4 years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
4 years
Get
is
to
a
that
magical
color.
number.
Yeah,
It really is.
Yeah.
Well, very cool, man. And we can, if you want more glasses, we can get them on these, or we can just drink this down and then start switching over and try them.
It
If
all
you're cool
works
with
for
us,
me.
right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
We have this thing on the show where
Well, you
know,
brought Mrs. Indiana Bourbon to pedal
Yes,
you
you
around.
I did. She
She did.
She's driving me today. I
she's
appreciate it.
well, and the cool thing is she gets here at noon, and the first thing she starts with is 135 per fry.
Yeah.
That's my type of girl,
Yeah,
honestly.
she's awesome.
Most people don't realize she got me into whiskey, so
Oh, really?
it's all thanks to you over there.
That's
Appreciate you.
awesome. So she's the one that tells you what to do.
That's
So I'm
right.
saying, I got
That's
you. I
right.
got
Yeah.
you.
I'm just the pretty face. She's actually behind.
Oh. Oh, jeez.
That's how it works around here. Rob has big ideas, and Lisa gets them done.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Pretty
That's
much.
us.
She makes sure things happen.
That happens all the time. I'll say, man, what do you think about this idea? And everyone will say, oh, that's a great idea. And Lisa's like, well, how do you think we do it? I'm like, that's your job. I'm just the idea guy here.
That's right. That's right.
Details suck.
So goofy.
So you mentioned those two. Have you done much with Spirits of French Lick yet?
We haven't done a pick. I want to do a pick with him eventually. I love what Alan's doing over there. I think he's that guy. If the zombies come, the world's ending, you can put that guy on an island, he'll be able to make you whiskey out of something. He's like the
Yeah.
MacGyver of distilling, I think. So,
Yes, he's amazing.
the way his mind works and the way he creates spirits is phenomenal. It's another 2.5 hour drive to get there, so we haven't
Yeah.
seen a lot of him, unfortunately. But I do think he's as good a distillery as you'll find in this country. I think he could go to Buffalo Trace tomorrow and run that place as good or better than it's being run.
I agree.
He works that way. So he's kind of the hidden gem as far as distillers go.
Yeah.
A lot of people know who Alan is. I mean, the work he's done speaks for itself, but
Yeah.
it's just so creative. I think he's got a 7 grain bourbon that I've been trying to find for a year. And I think Big Red did a pick recently. I've seen somebody post a pick, but I went to my Big Reds, couldn't find it. And stuff like 7 grain bourbon. People aren't doing that stuff for
Right.
the most part,
Well,
Now
and the
does.
question is why?
Yeah.
But it's because he wants to.
Because he wants to try
that's it.
everything.
And that's Alan. He's like,
Yeah.
he does his own thing, and I love that about him.
Well, I was down there because we're going to do a pick with him in July.
Okay.
And we're looking at doing a cast strength brandy pick.
Yeah.
And some of his cast strength brandy's coming
Yes.
in 150
Yeah.
proof.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And so we were looking at that, and I was down there talking to him and going through some of the stuff. The dude, it was his birthday, and
Okay.
he was there hanging out with me, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm getting ready to go back home because I got to tap the maple trees to get the syrup out of there, and I'm growing mushrooms over here doing this." I'm like, the dude's just,
Yeah.
when they call himself the alchemist, he really is. He's doing all kinds of stuff to figure out what he can do with vegetables and maple syrup and,
Yeah.
and do it all. I mean, it's just amazing.
Yeah.
Spelling genius.
He's a different breed for
He
sure.
is. He is. But
he
get
is-
him talking, man, and hit the history he knows about
Yeah.
Southern Indiana and the whiskey boom down there and all that. It's just pretty
Yeah,
amazing.
he's
Something
true
I never
historian,
knew.
I think. I mean,
He
he's
is.
certified, he knows what's going on.
Yeah, that's super cool. I'm looking forward to meeting him when we go down
Yeah.
for that pick because I haven't met him yet, but I know him from his Instagram
Oh, yeah.
presence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
I love it. I
I've
love it.
started listening. I've
He's
started
so
listening
much
to some
fun.
of his podcasts too, and I mean, he's just a wealth of knowledge. I
He
mean,
is.
Yeah.
it didn't matter what you're talking about; he knows something
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
My favorite are his Instagram live rant videos.
Oh, I haven't. Seen
Oh,
those.
yeah, you should see him
Oh,
hop
yeah.
on there.
He's a good time.
People join his live and he'll just chew them out.
You don't have to wonder what Alan's thinking. That's what I
No,
like about
yeah.
it. He'll
That's
tell
funny.
you. Yeah.
Yeah, he was pulling out a bunch because I took some cigars down there, and he was pulling out all these little half bottles of the last bit of what was left of something they did,
Yeah.
and it was a lot of fun. We'll have to talk about that. Maybe we can do a collaboration pick or something
Absolutely.
with him.
I love going
that. Might
with
be a good way to do that.
Yeah.
That'd be
Which
great.
is something that I know we've talked about. We'd like to do some
Yes.
collaboration
Yeah.
picks. I think that'd be a lot of fun. It would allow us and you to be getting half the barrels, so it's a little easier to move them and,
Yeah.
and do an extra pick. that
Dirk's
way.
not having issues
Well,
moving
no,
barrels
uh,
lately.
We've been
Has
fortunate. We've
problems.
been
Yeah.
fortunate here lately. So, the cause we've been raising money for, people really support. Which,
Yeah.
you always going into it, you hope for success, and it's
Yeah.
been wild. I mean, we're selling stuff out in 1, 2, 3 minutes, and it's like, well, this is beyond my wildest dreams.
Yeah.
But it's just our ideas and everybody. else
Luckily, your
making it happen.
Shopify page will tell people "Hey, it's sold out."
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Some of them aren't that good.
Yeah. We've had some issues, but we're working through the bugs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, that one thing I thought was pretty cool too is these end of watch programs and the badges you're putting on the bottles and everything. It's a tribute. But what I thought was really cool is most of the people that have bought those, and literally you get on the website, first come, first serve.
Yeah.
You buy it.
Yeah.
Almost every person that I've seen come through here to pick them has been either an officer or an officer's family.
Yeah,
And I'm like, it's not the flippers buying bottles to see what they can make out of it. It's people that actually want the bottle. They may never open it.
Right.
But they want that bottle because they want to also give to the cause.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I've not seen any flippers coming in here picking up your bottles, which is amazing.
Yeah.
And those cigar batch, I mean, they have a good secondary market on them. I know they're starting to get out there more and more now, but we price them to raise money for the cause, and at the same time, kind of price out the flippers, and it's kind of worked perfectly.
Yeah.
So
I mean, right now, Starlight Cigar Batch has gone down to like 150 on secondary, and that's like, it's kind of nice to see. But I think they did it strategically, just kind of putting more and more out onto the market.
Right.
And of course, it's a big moneymaker for Starlight too. So.
Yeah, and it's one of my favorites. I know it's one of those things, you love it, you don't like it. I'm on the love it camp. Like, I can't get enough of it. And this rye one we just did is my favorite one so far. It's Starlight Rye on top of the cigar batch, Ambarana barrels. It's like, that's the perfect mix for me.
My favorite cigar batch I ever got was your first cigar batch bourbon.
Okay. Yeah. I appreciate that.
With the tag, you know.
The Starlight tag.
Oh, yeah.
That's kind of what started all the tags for me. So let's start working this.
And like, that's a really cool idea, and they're kind of collectible, and you know, next thing you know, you're just gonna be putting little horses on top of your wax tip bottles.
Little police cars.
I might do that. Let me write that down. That's good stuff. We thought, like, let's do something where even if you drink the bottle, you can still have some memorabilia, something to remember the officers by, stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, and you do a lot of awesome things like this. This is a massive challenge coin, but it's really not a challenge coin. It's a spinner, first of all. But so you got on one side spinner with a hand on it. You can play a game with your buddies around the table, and whoever it lands on, they buy. But the other side is a flavor table or a flavor chart, which you can go through and you can figure out. If you're trying to figure out a flavor and you go into the spice area, you can kind of break it down and figure out. That's a great idea.
Yeah, we thought a tasting wheel you can put in your pocket was a good thing.
That is awesome. Yeah, I really enjoy that, and I've had a lot of people seeing it, and I kind of want to get some made.
Absolutely, yeah.
But that's a great idea. And I mean, you've done some other challenge coins, and you've done a lot of different things like that, and you've stayed on top of it, being very active and doing new things all the time. And I think that keeps people excited. Also, it's easier to raise money when something new's coming out all the time.
Yeah.
So I think that's great. I need to do better at that here.
It's tough because you got to come up with something new, every so often, and what hasn't been done before. That's kind of always been the challenge. It's like
it's got to be tough. People are expecting something new.
It starts getting tougher when people have expectations. Before, like, who's this idiot talking about whiskey? It's like, well, now we've got some things going on. So we've got a lot more things kind of, in the works. Got a few ideas sitting out there already. We're going to try to get some more challenge coins. We have that maple barrel pick coming. We got maybe half a dozen other barrel pick opportunities that we're trying to figure out. So
awesome!
It's going to be a busy summer and fall, I think, which is good. We're going to raise good money and have that stuff set aside in case we ever need it. So
that's cool. Well, we were kind of floored a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. We got a call from I don't know if you know Brent Holverson, Heaven Hill's rep, and he asked if we wanted to do an Elijah Creek barrel proof pick. We're like,
think about that for 2 seconds.
And we went down there and did that, and that was an amazing experience. And if it wasn't for Brent, we would have never gotten that pick. I mean, 1 year in business,
Kentucky picks anymore. Like,
it is
just being so young too, and hopefully now that we're in.
Yeah.
So we got a really awesome bottle coming.
Looking forward to that.
But no, it's really cool because it sounds like distilleries are trying to work with you now because of what you're doing.
Yeah, which is something we never saw coming. I mean, we do the Indiana Bourbon Awards, and they're all hand stamped.
Tell these people about the Indiana Bourbon Awards.
It's something we do annually. Usually it's around October, November, something like that. And we try to, over the year, which it's getting tough these days, we try to get a hold of as many bottles as we can. So I don't ever ask for anything. I buy everything I get. I mean, sometimes people will send me stuff, which is great because my budget, I am a police officer still. We have a 2-year-old kid, so shout out to anybody that sends me anything. But we'll never ask for it. So we like supporting the distilleries with our own actual bourbon dollars. So every year we try to collect as many single barrels as we can, distillery releases, group barrel picks, and then we give out awards for best Indiana bourbon, best Indiana rye, Best Indiana whiskey overall. We do single barrel bourbon, single barrel rye. We did a cocktail of the year last year, which
we got to get her on it next time.
Yeah,
we got to get her and Lisa on the cocktail.
If you make an Indiana cocktail, Indiana Spirits, like you're in line for this award. So, but yeah, we have a lot of fun with it. We didn't know the first year that would anybody care.
Yeah,
we mail these to the distilleries, and we just like, what is this stuff? But they love it. But you go to a bunch of these distilleries at 055.
You'll see them hanging.
Yeah, they are hanging either on bottles, on the wall. And what we like about it the most, it's not. There's no money involved. No one pays me for an award, because that stuff goes on. Believe it or not, in this industry. You ever heard of that?
Yeah.
And what we do is we taste everything, and we kind of go through it, narrow it down, and then we get down to a few final bottles. We'll start blinding those things. So there's no favoritism. Obviously, I can kind of tell an 055 from a Starlight. I've been drinking these things for a long time, so we kind of have an idea. But and we've got our favorite stuff. But every year, this past year, we had some new winners, first time ever winners. But basically, we'll taste these things, all we collected throughout the year, and then we'll award our favorites of the year, and then get those medals to the distilleries, and they post about it, and they hang it up.
Yeah.
It's been pretty awesome.
And if you look at the list, I mean, it is very well thought out, but it's also pretty accurate. It's very accurate. Yeah. Like, I mean, I was teasing about the cocktail. 1205, I mean, I know the one bartender, and I can't remember her name. She's a freaking amazing mixologist. She's the one that actually helped me learn how to make a Sazerac.
Yeah.
And I think that's what they do the best over there are cocktails.
They have a creative list all the time.
I haven't really tried much of their spirits, which we'll try in a minute. Yeah. The ones I did try, I was like, this is okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But the mixology part of it, they're amazing at. Yeah. So actually, I want to get into a couple of these if you don't mind.
Absolutely.
You want a new glass?
No, I'm okay.
You sure? Okay. So you
what are we starting out with, Dirk?
Oh boy, Elton's probably do that one last. It's more distinct. Let's go. You want to do the 18th Street?
Yeah,
it's the one you found you can get in Costco. It sold out just a few days. Which you got a craft distillery selling their bourbon inside Costco.
Well, I remember I actually got one of these bottles. I was like, "Who the heck is that?" And then I saw the age statement, and I was like, "Oh, I gotta buy it."
Oh
like,
yeah.
Going from that. Who is that? I've never had anything from them to sing. Oh, that's like proudly a 4-year.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, and I think 18th Street started. Was it before or after Three Floyds distilling? Because they kind of started really close to the same time.
Yeah.
And Three Floyds, the only thing I've seen come out from them is that bubblegum head, which is not great.
They had a 2-year that was not my favorite in the 4-year. The 4-year was better last year, and I liked it quite a bit.
Well, it was weird because I got a shipment. The guy sent me 4 bottles. 2 of them were 2-year, 2 of them were 4-year, and they were the same price, and the guy had no clue that 2 were different than the others. Yeah. So I'm like, but you're right. The 4-year definitely was more distinct.
It's not one you can drink every day. It's one of those. It was very unique flavor profile, but I really like it.
It's definitely one if you like gumball head beer, you're gonna like it as a whiskey.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's good.
Right now, to me, it almost tastes like they used some sort of toasted oak in it.
Yeah.
Like it kind of has that toasted oak almost, what I think of as like a marshmallowy quality.
Yeah.
So is this a pick?
Yeah.
Or is this just a release? Yeah. Okay, Spirit Thieves selection.
Spirit Thieves, yes.
Yeah,
it was picked for Costco.
Okay.
And it was the contender for our Bourbon of the Year last year, which I think 055 just beat them out there in our blinds. But
that's delicious. 124 proof.
Everything they make is coming in hot, which is fun.
Like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I like it when it comes in at that 120 plus range. Yeah. I mean, if it's not your jam, you can always bring it down. You can't take it up.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
I'm a big fan of that. I've got a couple backups at home once I taste it.
Oh yeah.
This one.
Yeah.
You went and grabbed a couple extras.
Thanks for sharing them.
Oh yeah. That's what we try to do. Anything we get Indiana-wise, somebody wants to try it, like we'll send out samples, we'll bring bottles over. Like we want people to taste what we're doing here. So.
Yeah, that's awesome. So you said the maple one's coming up next. When's the release on that?
We think it'll be bottled in June.
June? Okay.
Sometime in June. So we're going to do, I haven't told anybody yet either, that Noah Chenevet's anniversary was to be the 31st of July when he was shot and killed. So we're going to try to do a fundraiser with the maple syrup finish to donate to Officer Noah Foundation that his family has started. So we're going to do that, do another bottle hang of some kind. We're just kind of working on the details. Getting kind of down to the wire here, but we got a few ideas, and we're going to raise money and send it right to his foundation.
Something, and maybe we should be talking about this on the air, but we're going to. Something I'd like to talk to you about is possibly, when you do like this release especially, or any of these releases you're doing, maybe if there's a way we can work through the distributor where they could sell me a case of it or 3 bottles or whatever, we can put them up there with the badge on them so people can see them.
Yeah.
They can come here and try it.
Yeah.
And honestly, and that's what we did with the sweet corn. People come by and got the bottle, and they saw I had one up there, and like, oh, can I try it?
Yeah.
And they tried it, and like, oh, and most of them were like, oh, damn, that means now I'm gonna have to open the bottle because they weren't planning on opening the bottle. I'm like, nah, open it and drink it. You still have the bottle, you still have the badge.
Yeah.
That can be your tribute.
Right, and that's what the badge is for. We want people to be able to drink the whiskey and then still have that keepsake.
Yeah,
obviously.
yeah. But I'd love to work that out. If there's some special releases, we can.
Yeah,
I don't want to take away bottles from you,
No,
but
no,
obviously we'll buy them. But if we could sell them on the bar for people to try,
awesome.
that'd be great.
Yeah, I would love that.
And it would promote a little bit more. We could promote it for you. So
yeah,
we'll figure that out
sounds
maybe
good to me.
somehow.
Yeah, absolutely.
Put you on the spot,
No. I'm fine with that for sure. Yeah. Our whole goal is just getting it out there to the people and raise some money for these funds.
Yeah.
Oh, while we got a moment, wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about our new sponsor for the show, our new partner.
Yes.
7 Strong brand, which makes super cool whiskey-related
apparel.
So they have whiskey-related stuff and
they can do any logos. I mean, it's not just whiskey-related, but they are very much into the whiskey-related stuff.
Yeah. So if you guys want to check them out, honestly, these are super comfortable, great light material. You're out golfing, it's great. Could be your next bottle share T-shirt. Show up in style. So check them out at 7. That's the number 7-strong brand. 7-strong.com. And you can find them on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook. Use the code FINAL3rd for $5 off your order.
Plus free shipping.
Yeah.
So that's a great deal. I mean, these are really high end, high quality shirts. They're the shirts that have a little bit of stretch for guys like us. I got a little belt
yeah. Oh yeah.
But they're super comfortable. I'm wearing the long sleeve. He's wearing the short sleeve.
Yeah.
His is actually called the old fashioned because it's got all the old fashioned ingredients. Mine just has all the whiskey glasses
Weller
on them.
12 on there.
Yep.
I think some Woodford.
Hey, it looks like there's a little buffalo right down there.
Uh-huh.
I saw a Blanton's on it earlier.
Yeah.
Yep, right there.
I'm a horsey chaser today.
Horsey chaser. But we're actually going to have some shirts made up with our logo on them somewhere and do some things on it too. But if you're a business that is not involved with whiskey, they can do stuff for you too. They can make custom shirts for you. So yeah, definitely check them out.
Yeah.
They're great guys, and they're all, I believe, they're either all military or first responders.
Yeah.
Most of them are, if not all of them. So they're another great thing to support as well. But just 7 guys from around the nation that got together and decided to create some amazing shirts. So
check them out.
Thanks for sponsoring us, guys, and also check them out on their website.
Yeah,
and order you some shirts.
7-strong.com.
Yep.
Use the code FINAL3rd.
And we will be getting some custom ones made up with our logo and selling them here too. So you'll be able to get them here and see them too.
Cool.
Or just look at Isaiah and go up and rub his chest.
Yeah.
Feels.
Fill me up a little bit.
Fill him up a little bit. He likes that. He really likes it.
I'm not
when you rub
earring
the back
up
of the head.
Oh gosh. We had a lady one night to get my attention. She straight up came up to me and rubbed me on the back of my head. And like it absolutely flipped me out. Like
It's your go-to move, man.
Who walks up behind somebody?
It's unusual.
And
1 in 3 guys think that's pretty awesome, I guess. And she's like getting a few to go home with her. I'm just saying.
She was older than you, Rob. She would have been a cougar to you.
Cougar, baby. Oh, I know who you're talking about now.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's funny.
It was kind of rough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It happens.
Don't rub my head.
It happens. You got whiskey involved. Sometimes that happens.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. All right. So this is something we like to do on the show. Isaiah started this, and we usually do cigars and whiskey. I know you're not a cigar guy, so whiskeys. Tell us what your budget pour is. Tell us what your everyday pour is, and tell us what your unicorn pour is.
Okay.
It's celebratory
Or celebratory, not
Yeah.
unicorn, but
Yeah,
celebratory.
yeah.
Yeah.
but it doesn't have to be Indiana bourbon.
No,
it
right.
doesn't
Yeah,
even
yeah.
have to be
It didn't have to be
whiskey.
whiskey. Yeah.
So like
What do you
your
drink?
spirits, if you like Camus, is your everyday pour. Like it
Or can of blends.
can't what?
Can of blends.
Oh, did you see that?
Did you see that?
No, I didn't.
One
So
of the
some
liquor stores did a on 420 day.
Oh, I did.
can of
yeah,
blends.
yeah.
420 bucks
They don't
a
have
bottle,
of
baby.
that. No, I know.
people bought that.
Oh, you know they did.
Oh,
All three
yeah.
bottles,
Yeah.
they made $1,200 on it. So, but yeah. So, what do you
let's
think?
see. Like, my everyday it's tough because we're constantly just rotating through everything. So, like, I don't really have. I mean, my bottles I've got for years because we just keep trying to get all the new stuff
Yeah.
and all like the new Indiana's things and all that. So, I say the budget pour is. I mean, everybody says it, but the Evan Williams Ball and Bond is like. I mean, how we still have that for the price we still do is amazing. I'm
Yep.
sure that the clock's ticking on that thing, but that's probably my budget.
Probably.
I'd
pour.
imagine.
The unicorn stuff, I'm a huge like I like obviously everybody likes George T. Stagg, right? It's like one of those things. But the 2017 George T. Stagg, we managed to somehow, and she helped with a couple of those acquisitions.
You
get a few
married up,
bottles.
didn't you?
Yeah, I did. I absolutely did. But we've got some of those bottles. We already killed one of those bottles, but now we're having the baby and all that stuff. So we have the kind of the bottles with some hang tags for like different things, milestones in her life and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And,
That's awesome.
of the 5 bottles we got, 3 of those are George T. Stagg 2017. So
That's
been going
amazing.
for a long,
Yeah.
long time. So
That's
that's
amazing.
to me the best bourbon ever made is that bottle right there. Love that one. Well, my everyday. No, the
Yeah.
the
Yeah, every day. It could just be what's your everyday right now, or what bottle are you trying to kill right now?
Yeah. I am on a mission killing some bottles. I left a bottle at a friend's house last night around the fire. So I drank Starlight of some variety every week. I mean,
Yeah.
without question, because they have something for every mood, every like if it's hot outside, if it's cold outside. So,
Yeah.
I think a finished Starlight is kind of my everyday pour because I do like at least every couple of days there's a Starlight in my glass. So shout out to them for making everything that I love so much. But
Yeah.
I would say they're my everyday pour. Something
That's
from them.
awesome.
Yeah.
Well, and you are right. I mean, you can get a little bit of everything with Starlight.
You can.
I mean,
Yeah.
the honey barrels are delicious.
Yeah.
A maple barrel's delicious. Then you go to a spicier rye. With, I'm with you there. And actually, was the rye that you were talking that I have back there? Is that the one you guys did together?
Yeah.
Okay, that's
Yeah,
what
the
I thought.
ATS Indy ride.
That's what I thought.
Which that group's practically dead at this point. Well,
But the barrel pick was phenomenal.
yeah, it was
Yeah.
a fun pick.
Even Ted Huber thought that was the bottle, that was the barrel, and
Yeah.
that's the one we got. So
Yeah,
That's
no, that
cool.
was a fun experience.
it was.
for sure.
It was.
I love those guys down there at Starlight. Sometimes I look at them and I'm like, "What are you doing?" And other times I'm just like, "Aw, like those are my people," you know. You go down there and you just feel like family
It's an
every
experience like no
single
other.
time.
Yeah, it
And I
is.
will say, if you're in Indiana, I mean, of all the Indiana distilleries, that's probably your best tour you're going to get in Indiana.
Well, and you can go down and spend a day at Starlight.
Yeah.
They got
During
great
the
food.
during the fall, you could do apples and you can do pumpkins
Pumpkins.
and like I think they even do you pick blackberries.
Yeah,
like,
they
at
do.
some
Yeah.
point.
You
Yeah.
pick apples too. You
Yeah,
do all that.
Yeah.
Charcuterie board out there on the patio.
Oh, yeah.
Live
Oh, yeah.
music going. Like we love it. Like if
I
it
do
wasn't
too.
2 hours away, I'd be there every day. But
Well, and their
my wallet
food there's really pretty good.
Yeah.
Really good. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of things there, and everything I've had has been great.
I think my go-to is that chicken salad sandwich, though.
That is
I haven't
good.
had that one.
Yeah.
I eat the pizza almost every time.
Oh,
I
that's
like it.
great.
It's
That's
a lot
great.
good.
Yeah.
Well, and I will say, if you don't like crowds, don't go during the fall when they're doing their pumpkin patch stuff. That's when.
But I will say, if you have a family, it is a great excuse
Yeah.
to go to a distillery.
It
Yeah.
is.
Yeah. There's something for everybody there.
There really is. I mean, they have that farm building where they have all the baked goods and all
Yeah.
the, I mean, candies, cookies, whatever.
Yeah.
It's
Ice
they have
cream
everything.
shop,
Ice cream
like-
shop, coffee.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
they really do it all. They're a winery, a distillery. I mean, you can literally spend an entire day there and not get bored.
Yeah.
So, and like I said, the tours are great. They're going to give you the history of their farm, of their distillery, of their winery. You're going to get to taste stuff out of the barrels.
I think
it's a
that's
great
still one of my
experience.
favorite smells is that wine cellar that's right under the
Oh,
gift shop.
it is
Like
nice.
it's beautiful.
You go through there, then you go buy some brandy and then
Yeah.
the whiskey.
Yeah.
Like it's just great.
Yeah,
There's
But
been
I
a couple
agree.
times when we've caught brandy like right off the still. and-
we did. That
My
160
goodness.
proof they
Yeah.
gave us.
It comes
That,
hot.
Well, they were like, "Well, this will be a palate primer for your pick," and it's like, "Oh,
Well,
my goodness!"
no, actually, the first time we tried it was the day that you and I did the tour. Before we wouldn't even do a pick, but we did a tour of that down there. That wasn't a pick day, was it?
No, you took Ryan there. That wasn't me.
Oh,
You and
didn't go on
Ryan
that
went. No, I gave you my hat, and that's how you got
Oh,
in.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's right. Get the special treatment when it says barrel select. I
Yeah.
got my own hat now. Thank you very much.
Seriously, that hat
But no,
opens a lot of
when we were
doors.
down there though, they I mean, he's instead of you get that brandy coming off there, and they're like, oh, here, try a little bit.
Yeah.
They're pouring a glass like that full,
Oh,
and expect us to
gosh.
drink 160 proof of that full. I'm like, but no, it was delicious at that proof even. So,
Yeah.
That
but
place always
I like that
shocks
place.
me. Like they're
and I
on the
think,
pick, you will drink so much if you actually drink everything that they pour in your glass.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
you
learn
but
quick
they
to
don't-
just sip and throw out.
yeah, and you feel terrible doing it.
You do.
but
You do.
you have to.
You do have to. But
You
it's
have
the best
to.
barrel pick experience. I mean, I've been on quite a few and like nothing comes close because I mean you got Andrew and them just climbing through the rick house and just
Yeah.
pulling out samples. Like I love it. I love
It's
it.
Yeah.
super fun.
it was. And we've talked about this on the show a little bit too. Talked about succession plans with tobacco farms and cigar brands. You got a lot of young people. A lot of the people are aging out, and their kids are coming in, and they have a great plan at Starlight. I mean, you've got the Huber boys, Blake and Christian, that are involved every day, probably more so than Ted, I would assume, at this point. And they're young. They're in their 20s, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they've got a definitely good plan going ahead for the next 50 years or more.
Yeah.
And I think both of their ladies, whether they're wives or fiancés, I think,
Christian's still a fiance.
yeah.
I don't know about Blake.
But I think they both work at the farm.
They do.
Do they?
Yeah.
I know Christian's fiance does.
Yeah.
I met her when we were down there last
So,
time.
I mean, and Dana Huber, Ted's wife, she handles all of the outgoing stuff. So, like, she's coordinating with R&DC on everything. So, I imagine that'll switch over to one of them when
Oh,
they're
yeah.
ready to leave.
Yeah.
But
I think it's
they're
in good
really
hands.
doing it well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely in good hands. And I think from what I've seen with Blake and Christian both, they both have really good palates and they really understand the business. So I think it's going to, honestly, I don't think it's going to just maintain. I think it's going to continue to get better.
Yeah.
I think when you get younger palates involved and younger people's ideas and stuff, it gets better and
Yeah.
better. As it
And
grows.
I will miss the Ted stuff though, because Ted, if Ted's name is on the bottle, it's spicy.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
Ted
I love
loves
the family
his spi-
reserve time when they have each their own individual
Yeah.
favorite barrels and stuff.
Yeah.
That's
I
great
guarantee
stuff.
though, Ted will be still doing picks even when he's 90 years old.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Let's hope so.
Oh yeah.
I mean, because bourbon makes you live longer.
That's right. I hope so.
I don't
So far,
think
so
that's
good.
scientifically proven, but we'll
Nope,
take it.
It's true. It's true. I said it.
Okay.
I wrote it down, then I read it.
You wrote which?
I believe everything I read.
Yeah. Yeah, I do think we're in kind of like a, like the back in the day in Kentucky, you had your main distillers, all these big names and stuff. And I think we're in that era for Indiana right now. And it's like, it's fun to kind of live in what it's going to be history someday with
Yeah.
the Hubers and all that stuff. So it's great.
Oh, and
time
the
to be
Huber
involved.
family has done so much for Indiana legislature
Oh,
and like
yes.
actually being able to sell whiskey at the distillery,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
is something you couldn't do for a while.
Yeah.
Which
It's
Kentucky
tough
still
here.
can't do. Well, they can, but they have to.
They
go through
can't. They can't take it from production floor to the gift shop.
Right.
They gotta buy it back from a distributor.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you and I have talked a little bit about some of the distillers. I think you and I think I tagged you in a post and threw you out there.
Yeah.
Was it Traveler's Point?
Yes. Yeah.
I don't know anything about them. Do you know much about that
we
distillery
went
yet?
through there. Like they opened say a year and a half, 2 years ago.
Okay,
Something
okay,
like
so
that.
they
I
are
think it was
still
late
new.
20. It may have been late last year.
Okay.
It's barely new. We went there. It's been I don't know, a couple months ago, something like that, and tried through some of their spirits thing. They're kind of aged I think 6 months to maybe 12 to 18 months, something like that, right now, because they're fairly new to
Yeah.
be able to do it. But It's a nice, fun little cozy spot. It's a Bear Wallow, but like maybe half that size as far as like the tasting room and all that.
Even smaller than Bear Wallow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. But it's going to be a fun spot. You could tell we were in there, and like the main distiller was in there with some buddies, just like having some drinks and hanging out. It was like, that's what I like about Indiana is you've got, I mean, the Hubers has got this enormous facility and doing everything that the big guys are doing, and you've got Traveler's Point, who's like, it's just the distiller and his buddies having some drinks, So it's a fun place. We
That's
like
cool.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely want to get up there and check that place out.
We'll go back. Absolutely.
And where is that located exactly?
Oh, that's a good
Is it
question.
like northwest?
It's good. We went to Hunt Club Distillery, which is
Right.
in Sheridan, and it's just 10, 15 minutes from there.
Oh,
a little
okay.
bit north of there, I
Okay.
think. So
All right.
Yeah, it's
so you
a fun
got that
spot.
little quadrant's become a little bit of a whiskey area. You
Yeah,
got
yeah.
Old 55 not far from there too.
yeah.
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 That's really about it though, isn't it? Those three, and then you got Boone County Jail Distillery.
Uh-huh.
Have you been there?
We tried to go there when they weren't really open for business during COVID and all that stuff.
Yeah.
We couldn't get in, but
Cool
I
guys.
like what they're
Actually,
doing.
the distiller there's a really nice.
You went
guy.
over there, didn't you?
Yeah, Will and
Yeah.
I went over there and met him and tried through some of their stuff. They had a. This is actually kind of a cool thing. They took their. They had a guy that had tequila, and he made Cristalino tequila.
Okay.
Which you know what that is?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And if you don't know, it's actually just basically taking an aged in a barrel tequila, an añejo or an extra añejo, filtering it until it becomes absolutely clear. You get all the flavor but no color. And he did that with this guy did that with his bourbon.
Really?
And made 6 bottles, and he shared a bottle with us.
Yeah, very
and it
cool.
was really, really tasty. I mean,
Yeah.
it was well, Will says it best. It was a mind fuck.
Yeah.
I mean, it was one of those things like you're like, oh my god, this is delicious, but
It's a
it's
clear
clear.
spirit.
Yeah.
What's wrong with this?
Yeah.
It was really good. So they're doing
Interesting.
some fun stuff like that too, and
Yeah.
they're starting to get some aged product out there.
Mm-hmm.
We tried one of the barrels of something I think 3 or 4 years old. It was a rye. It's starting to get good.
Yeah.
So I think they're going to be good. I mean, they're a really small distillery,
Right.
but it's a fun little place. I mean, you go through there and you see the jail. I mean, they still have all the operational jail
Right.
cells
That's
and all
crazy.
this stuff. And so it's a cool spot too. But again, another Indiana distillery doing something fun.
I love it.
Are they
I love it.
aging barrels just in the jail cells?
No, I mean in the jail.
This
but
was
not
this was in
cells.
D42.
Right.
Like
Actually, you know, that would be an amazing idea because they used to have it as a restaurant and you could
Yeah.
actually eat inside each jail cell, but they closed the restaurant down during COVID. That would be perfect.
honestly, the restaurant sounds like a terrible idea.
Apparently, it was pretty awesome food.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure it was high end food.
I mean, you'd have to
bologna
be.
sandwich.
Yeah,
hot dogs or
yeah.
whatever.
Slide it through the jail. Eat your food. You got 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, slide it through the door and it's got a full cloche on it and everything.
That'd be great.
That is what's fun here is we've got 50-some distilleries now, and everybody kind of starts doing their own little, like, experimenting. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, there's different things. Like, there's some, like, Old 55 ages underground. There's stuff like that people just aren't normally doing, That's why it's all unique here, and nothing tastes the same. I mean, we've tasted through, of the 50, probably 40-some distilleries stuff, and none of it's the same. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I love that about it.
Well, and it feels like Indiana's kind of taken, you got Kentucky and you got all the distillers in Kentucky. They're like, we need to make bourbon.
Mm-hmm.
We need to make rye. And we need to do it the traditional way.
Yes.
And Indiana's like, well, screw that. We're just going to do like craft beer. We're going to do whatever the hell we want to and
Yeah.
try some new stuff.
Yeah.
And now you got all the big distilleries saying, oh, maybe we need to do a port finish bourbon
Yes,
or
that's what I
whatever
like
else.
seeing.
And it's kind of cool to see. I think Indiana is leading the craft kind of, not maybe just Indiana, but places like Indiana. Ohio's doing some of it too.
Yeah.
Illinois is doing some of it
I
too.
really do think
Michigan.
the Midwest is leading the traditional craft scene.
I think
then
so.
you go out further west, and they're dealing like where they're excelling is mostly in single malts.
Yeah.
and more barley heavy, like malted barley heavy whiskeys. So you think about like Dry Fly Distilling and
Yes,
stuff
I
like
love
that.
Dry Fly. Like, they've
Yeah.
got some phenomenal
They've got
crazy
some
stuff.
crazy hazmat single barrels
Yeah.
that just drop like nothing.
Yes.
Well,
Like it's commonplace for their single barrels to be hazmat proof.
Yeah,
Well,
we got
as
a couple
much-
at home. At 140, and one was at 152.
Yeah.
we got from
Nice.
them.
Yeah,
it's just,
totally.
it's
That's
fun.
speaking our love language
Yeah,
right there.
Yeah.
Well, and I know you've been around. You've drank bourbon and whiskey from all over the country. What was one of the things I've noticed is like when we got Peach Street in, they sent us the barrel proof, which actually we found out wasn't barrel proof. It was 117. They had proofed it to 17 down to 117, and then they also sent all the 91 proofs that they proofed down because that's kind of their jam out there. Is that most people like the lower proof. Do you see that most around the country? That more areas like out west or maybe down south, they like the little lower proof stuff, where somehow Midwest is like, let's just bomb us.
It seems that way. Like here, if you put 140 on the label, it's gone. It doesn't
gone.
matter what it tastes like. It'll be a fun experience to drink it. And that's what I like about some of the stuff we've had that's so hot. You're like, wow. But it was fun to do. It's just fun to try. You couldn't just drink that watching the game because you'd be passed out by halftime, whatever. But, I do think the Midwest is like, give me that 120 and above, because less than that, like you said, you can always proof it down if you want to, but you can't bring it up. I do think Indiana, besides Kentucky, I think Indiana is the most consumed whiskey state. It's the most hunted and picked through. Like, you can attest to that, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I mean, people that can buy stuff off the shelf that we haven't seen in 5 or 6 years. So,
well, I got a buddy in Texas. Like, he hit me up the other day, and he was like, "Hey, they got Taylor Rye. It's like marked up a little. It was like $100."
Yeah.
I said,
do it.
You gonna grab me one? Like,
how many can you get?
Yeah.
Like, no limit. Mark's $20 up past where it should be. But it's like, what? You gotta be kidding me.
You'll spend $500 in gas trying to find it up here. So
yeah, it's crazy.
The more I get into this whiskey, the more I feel like there's it's not quite, but it's almost like it feels like it's cherry finish. It's got a lot of that red fruit kind of in
Could
it.
also be the port that was in your glass.
It might be. You're not getting any of that at all in the whiskey? I just feel like there's a lot of that red fruit that almost reminds me of sherry.
Yeah.
Not port as much as the sweetness, but the sherry.
They've done the port and the sherry finish through Costco.
Have they?
Yeah.
Which, if you didn't know, if you're not a Costco member and you'd like to get one of these bottles, tell the guy at the gate, say, "Hey, I'm buying liquor." They cannot stop you.
Yep.
And when you go to the register with only alcoholic items, they don't need a card because you cannot.
It's Indiana law.
It is Indiana law.
Yep.
So.
Yep. Same way as Sam's Club. If they've got something you want, you can go in there and buy liquor all day long and not have to have a card.
Yep.
I never knew that when I was actually literally working next to a Costco down in Greenwood.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you were.
So, well, what are we getting into next?
Let's see.
Here, I can finish this quick.
Oh,
We
okay.
keep our proofs somewhat in line. So I guess they're all brought you all fire today.
It's okay.
That's what we like.
How about 129 7-year-old Bear Wallow?
Sounds
I
wonderful.
mean, that's okay.
Yeah.
We're
We'll
at least getting
live.
closer to where we like to
a little
be.
lower than we prefer, but we'll do 129.
Rob, you brought the highest proof bottle on the bar for me. And that's what Sarah's drinking over there.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, so do you know the story behind that bottle, the Old Bones? Did I tell you that?
We were listening to it on the way here.
Okay,
About
okay.
how it was one of your favorites or whatever, or your favorite.
It was on
barrel.
it was on a pick. It's a 17-year-old Canadian rye, and it was at the end of like a tasting line before we went out to like tap into some barrels.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is amazing. Yeah, of course, you've picked with me. I love spicy.
Oh, yeah.
I love
Yeah.
rye.
Uh-huh.
Like it, and I knew that this is amazing, but it's not a shop pick.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, especially at the proof, like
Yeah.
you can't bring in something that's a rye,
Yeah.
that's 135 proof that most people are gonna like blind buy.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure it's finished in cognac barrels, though the label doesn't say
Right.
that.
I'm 99%.
I have
Honestly, they repurposed a label for me on that because that was not an actual. That wasn't actually bottled yet.
Right. Gotcha.
He actually bottled it because I wanted to give it to him for his wedding.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And which Lisa says that's not a wedding gift, so I'm just like, screw that. That's a wedding
one
gift
to
for
me.
me. to
sounds
understand.
sounds good to me.
Yeah.
So I called it
Absolutely.
his birthday / he's getting the hell out of here / So
I'm not leaving for real. Nobody who just listens to the podcast will know that I'm gone.
Yeah.
no, you're still gonna be on the podcast. You're still gonna be hanging out.
I just
You're
won't
still
be
gonna
here
You're still
15
gonna be,
hours working a
You're
week.
still gonna be vacuuming under people that drop ashes on the ground.
I don't already do that.
Well, that's true. You don't do much.
Oh my gosh, this Bear Wallow has a great nose.
Yeah.
It's
I'm-
like
I'm
super
curious if
sweet.
So when,
And,
when I was down there
vanilla.
and did the tour, they had 2 barrels that were their first 2 barrels they had in the rick house, and they were about 7.5 years old.
Yeah.
And they were letting us taste out of that, just little tastes of it.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if this is what this is. Maybe they finally went ahead and bottled. They got down so low.
Oh, wow.
Let's quit sharing it for free.
I'll probably butcher this story, but I think they call it the Lost Barrel Series. So at some point, I think they had misplaced a few barrels that they didn't realize were like some of the originals, and this was one of those. It was kind of just Asian with the rest, and they're like, holy, this is 7 years old.
You've been there.
Yeah, I have.
How the hell do you lose a barrel in a little place? I mean, I can literally stand in one spot and see every barrel in the place.
Yeah.
That's
but
funny.
They got a handful that they saved back
Oh, that's
for
good.
towards the very beginning.
Yeah.
It's got some cinnamon in there, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's just I love it. The rye to me is even better. But like you, I'm a rye guy, but
That's really good.
big fan.
So are you, you said you do have a pick lined up with them, or you're going to plan one?
No, we did a 5.5-year-old rye about a year and a half ago,
okay.
something like that. And then I went with the ABV Network, do a lot of podcasts and all that stuff with Steve Akeley.
Yeah.
We went down with them to do a couple barrel picks. They got a couple barrels going to Missouri. So,
good.
And
that's
they were
cool.
phenomenal barrels. And we tasted a lot of their older stuff.
We have enough carryover with that ABV show that we need to go down and legit talk with Colonel Steve Akeley.
Oh, yeah. He's a great
I mean,
dude.
Will's good friends with him already, so that would be actually a good idea. We ought to go over there and do a collaboration podcast
Yeah.
with them.
Totally.
Yeah.
They're doing cool stuff.
Yeah, they really are. Yeah, we went down there in Bear Wallow because he asked me, like, who do you think is the most, like, kind of like behind the scenes underrated? I was like, Bear Wallow.
Yeah.
And they went down there and tried it as a group. They're like, holy shit.
Which the
This is-
ABV store in Arnold,
Missouri. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
They love the underrated brand.
Yeah.
They do.
Yeah. And they're
Right.
doing a great
They're the
job
ones-
of pushing those to the forefront.
Yeah.
Well, they're the ones that kind of got us on Wood Hat
Yeah.
Yeah.
because they did.
They had a
Wood Hat pick.
hazmat Rubenesque pick.
I wish I'd have got down
Oh,
there.
it was so good.
Was it?
It
I
was
bet
very
was.
good. Actually, all the Wood Hat stuff's been good that we've tried.
Yeah.
We did a pick with them for the club.
Well, for Indiana Bourbon Club.
Right.
Yeah.
It sold out in under an hour.
Yeah.
Actually, it sold out before we got past the Missouri state line.
Well, the
The
craziest
first
thing
barrel
about that
Yeah.
Wood Hat pick is they said, yeah, we'll bottle it up and you'll be able to take it there. What we didn't realize is there's 2 people working there that day. So that meant you're going to be the bottling line and you're going to take it home
That's
today.
fun.
We
That's a
labeled it,
fun
we
experience.
bottled it, we corked
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
It was actually a fun process.
Oh, I thought it was
I will
blessed.
tell you right now, I don't ever care to do it again. But it was cool to do once.
Yeah.
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 It
Bottle
was
your
cool
own
to-
barrel.
Yep.
That's fun.
It was pretty cool.
Now, someone else, if actually someone professional would have been doing it, we'd probably been out of there 2 hours earlier.
Right. I'm
But
taking a few samples along the way, I imagine.
we had a lot of samples that
They
day.
had a lot of
Well, they've got an amazing orange corn aging right now.
Yeah.
That's gonna be
So
insane.
Gary over at Wood Hat, he's the old guy behind it.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny. You'd be like,
so-
how did you come up? We asked him, how'd you come up with Wood Hat? He said, well, my name's Gary Heingardner. He said,
I can't
you
do
can't really call a distillery that.
good
He
point.
said, so I like wood turning hats. So we just called it Wood Hat.
That's phenomenal.
But he's doing a lot with, and they are as grain to glass gets, and
Yeah.
they're even going out of their way to use wood sourced from in Missouri.
yeah, because the cooperage is like a mile away from them.
Yeah, ISC is not far from them. So
Okay.
it's
Yeah.
And that's where he got his start, was with them. He was working with them. He's also a farmer. He's like, I know wood, I know grain. I might as well make whiskey. And,
Yeah,
and he
absolutely.
was absolutely floored that anybody from Indiana would even care to have his whiskey
Yeah.
in
No
Indiana.
kidding.
And I'm like,
We are a
dude, you're
whiskey
making
state.
great whiskey. And
But he showed us his 100% sweet corn.
Yeah.
Dude, it's one to watch out for.
Yeah. Okay.
it wasn't even a year old when we tasted it. And it's
No
already
kidding.
freaking delicious.
You know, I'm a huge fan already, so I'm into that.
We'll be doing a pick with him at some point. I know Will's already very well in with Gary. He knows him really well. You know Steve Strabbing,
Yeah.
Indiana Small Batch. They're now distributing Wood Hat here in
Yeah.
Indiana, so there's been some picks going out to different. Town Liquor just got their. That's another one too. Town Spirits and Wines. Is that what it's called?
Town Fine Wine and Spirits.
Pretty close.
I always just call it Town Liquor.
Yeah.
But
Liquor.
Nearly killed her. No. But no, they're down there at Hamilton Town Center. They have all 3, the Rubenesque, the Blue Corn, and the Bloody Butcher
Yeah.
picks that they did. Those are available now. They
Which
just delivered
most
last
Bloody
week,
Butchers that you guys will have tried is Jephthah Creed.
and it's not.
It's not good.
No. I mean,
This is
sorry, Jephthah Creed, but this is actually good.
Yeah,
This
it still distinctly tastes like a Bloody Butcher corn bourbon
Without the mold.
without the mold.
Bottom line, it's mold.
Yeah, seriously,
He
that's
actually
one thing
showed
we
us.
learned.
Yeah.
yeah.
He had a cooler of corn, Bloody Butcher corn that the farmer didn't take care of properly. He said, "Smell that." And it was musty and nasty.
Yeah.
He's like, "Yeah, it's moldy. We basically had to sell it to the pig farmer so they could have feed."
Well, he said, there's a couple distilleries that are out there using this, and I said, it smells like Jephthah Creed.
Yep.
And all he did was smile.
Yeah. He wasn't throwing anybody in their bus,
No.
but he
Yeah.
knew we knew what we were talking about.
Right,
So
yeah.
but yeah, so
If your whiskey smells like dusty library books, throw it down the drain and never buy that bottle again.
I mean, you could
It's
use
fair.
it to
It's
clean
fair.
your toilet. I
Yeah,
mean,
probably.
it's fine.
Sorry, Jephthah Creed. I'm sure you can make a great product.
Sorry.
I just haven't seen it yet.
Sorry, but not sorry, right?
No.
Yeah, the bourbon consumer is very educated these days, so it's
They really
important.
are.
It's important.
Especially in this region.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's that much.
Well, and I think a lot of it's because you either have farming in your family or one of your friends has
Right,
farming
yeah.
in their family.
Right.
So, like, it's Indiana. We know
Yeah.
about corn.
Yeah.
Like,
A little
bit about
you know about red winter wheat.
Yeah.
Like, even if you hunted deer, like, you've hunted over food plots.
Right.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So it's like, you know a little bit more than a lot of the guys
Yeah.
in the industry just because we grow a lot of the primary grains. And,
Right?
well, like Starlight's indigenous rye, that's just rye that they've collected from drainage ditches. Like, because it literally is a weed
Yep.
and you can distill it.
So your name is Indiana Bourbon.
Yes.
Do you have any thoughts of maybe expanding that beyond Indiana, or are you pretty much stuck with Indiana Bourbon because you're Indiana Bourbon?
We like.
Curious.
I mean, I drank everything from Washington. I mean, everywhere we drink and enjoy it. But I really think that the whole thing has been like seeing the potential. Right. That's kind of what we
Yeah.
all started with. And I think we'll never catch Kentucky. You can't start 200 years ahead of us and us ever catch up to you. So,
Yeah.
But I think we can get close to matching it. And I think we're the state that's doing it better than anybody else besides Kentucky. So I'm going to stick with it. Like I think that what's going on here, like I said, we're at the historic stages. I think for whiskey in this state. So we're always going to be backing what we've got here between Jason Fruits and like the Huber family. Like it's not just the whiskey and the brands, but like the people behind it. I'm huge fans of. I mean, when we started this thing, to think that I'm going to be texting like saying, "Hey, what's up to Jason?" Like, how's the family? All that kind of stuff is blew my mind. You know,
Yeah.
so it's more than just what it tastes like. It's the people behind it for me. So,
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and you said, what did you say? There's 50 distilleries now in Indiana?
I can't even keep up. It's 50 some.
And that's
50-something.
cool. And you know, a lot of these distilleries are still young. I mean,
Very
you're talking
young, yeah.
under 4 years old, so they obviously don't have any.
I mean, we have
product
Moon
out.
Drops
Yeah.
right up the street,
Yeah.
and all
Yeah.
they're pushing as far as whiskeys goes is MGP right now.
Yeah, I mean, they're
Yeah.
3 years away from their own product being able to be released
Right.
at
Yeah.
4 years.
Yeah.
So, and how many more distilleries have popped up that are
Yeah.
like that? So
Yeah.
that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Are there any on the horizon that you know of that maybe no one knows about yet? They're maybe young, but are coming up that might be
Yeah.
fun to talk about down the road?
That's tough because I know there's
Okay.
been like every year we get another handful that are opening their doors, but like you said, they're all sourcing stuff, or it's
Right.
just vodka, or it's just gin, or something like that. Which I think the gin is getting great. The brandies that people are doing it are great in this state. So it's a tough one. I mean, I know over the years we'll find out who they are and post about them and all that, but it happens so fast anymore that we haven't tasted anything or they haven't released anything, so it's kind of tough. But,
Yeah.
but you're seeing we only had a handful of distilleries open in 2013 when you can start doing that.
Yeah.
So those are the ones that are hitting 6, 7, 8 year mark now, which is I mean you get in that range like that's legit. Like you've made it by now, or you wouldn't be selling 8-year-old whiskey, right?
Yeah.
Start
Oh,
by now then.
absolutely.
So and I hope they all have success. The fact that we can have these distilleries that have their little tasting rooms are like 200 square feet, right?
Yeah.
And they're still here 6, 7 years later.
Yeah.
They're making great cocktails. You got great mixologists. So even if you're not doing the age thing, you've got to be able to do something to make it this market.
Well, and that's something that Cardinal Spirits has done.
Yeah.
Like all of their liqueurs, they have a coffee liqueur,
the canned cocktails.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have really owned that market.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of liqueurs and stuff, but people who I know that drink them regularly say that theirs are great.
Yeah.
And actually, Cardinals gins are really good.
Yes, they are. Yeah.
I'm not the biggest gin fan, but when I want a gin cocktail, I'm using one of their Cardinal Spirits ones.
Yeah. It's just that this state's got something unique in every distillery, and that's hard to come by because they're not just trying to make the best bourbon. Because some people realize like that's just not what we got. We don't have something that's going to be the best bourbon in the world, but we've got a mixologist who can make something out of nothing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what's fun here is we go downtown. We're gonna do that today, and we hit like 1205 or Four Finger now. West Fork, we hit Hotel Tango in 8th Day, and they always have a new like lineup of cocktails. Or whatever.
Yeah.
So in last Halloween, 1205 had a serial killer like based cocktail list that you could pick up those cocktails that were based on different serial killers and things. It's just a fun atmosphere, and the cocktails were phenomenal.
That's cool.
They
That's
all
very
have
cool.
a little niche somewhere they can do something
Yeah.
with.
That's very cool.
One
so
thing-
8th Day.
Yes.
You're talking about them. Are you an absinthe fan?
I love absinthe.
Try their absinthe. when
I
you're
got
down there.
some at home.
Oh,
Like,
do you? Okay.
Yeah.
See,
Little
their
green-
absinthe's actually really solid.
Yeah,
Now,
it is.
Spirits or French Lick is my favorite
Man,
absinthe.
that barrel age absinthe they did a couple years
And
ago.
I
now.
don't like barrel age, but
I
their
love
barrel
it.
age is fantastic.
I haven't
They're
had
like-
their barrel aged one, but the absinthe with blue is what we use
that's
here.
what we use for
Okay.
Sazeracs
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, the barrel aged is one of my favorite spirits that's been made in this state. Like it doesn't compare to bourbon.
Yeah.
It's obviously very different. But when I tried that, I was like, how do I get more of this
Oh,
stuff?
I love absinthe. I mean, I can sit there and sip on it.
I can.
I don't
too.
have to worry
Yeah.
about mixing a cocktail,
Yeah.
but they make good cocktails
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
So
They definitely do.
that's cool. So what are you gonna say?
Oh, another downtown distillery, Hotel Tango.
Yeah.
Their reserve bourbons, which is there's like single barrel stuff, have been really, really good.
Oh,
and
good.
they have a completely unique profile.
Yeah.
Good.
I think some of their stuff I think is hurt by their water filtration program that they have in there. Okay, so I went there, did a tasting, tasted their rum, and the main tasting note that I pulled out of it was Indianapolis city water. And I know that. I live in this city. Like,
Yeah.
I know what Indianapolis city water tastes like. So,
That's funny.
but their reserve bourbons are crazy
I'm glad to
unique.
hear that, man, because that
And the one that I had there almost had like a fennel almost licoricey note in it, just inherently in the bourbon,
Nice.
which you don't find very often.
No.
So-
well, and early on, I had some of the Hotel Tango stuff, and I'm like, it's okay bourbon. But then Tony Bratcher, let's do a shout out because I need to drink.
Shout
more.
out.
Oh, just finished.
Tony Bratcher. Oh, sorry,
Oh,
just more. He's a local firefighter, and he also is the one that makes some of our T-shirts.
Okay.
He actually did a barrel pick and basically was raising money for the firefighter fund that they
Okay.
were part of, and it was really good. It was a barrel pick. It was a barrel proof. And I'm like, okay, they have something going here. I'm glad to hear that maybe they're taking that turn to make something good, because I think a lot of times people looked at Hotel Tango and said, oh, you're talking about the limoncello and all
Yeah.
the other stuff that they were making. And that was kind of what you thought of
Well, the
Hotel
marshmallow
Tango.
one
Or the
that they came
marshmallow.
Schmello. We
the
put a little
vodkas.
bit of that schmello in like old fashions around like fall, the
Yeah.
fire pit, something
Is it
like
good?
that. Oh, it is good. Like,
Oh,
I
yeah.
like to make different old fashions with different kind of like one-off Indiana products. That's
Totally.
one of those things for sure.
Yeah.
Well, and you'd mentioned Hunt Club.
Yes.
How's their stuff coming? Because I had some of their stuff early on. I think it was only 2-year bourbon.
Yeah.
And it was okay.
They do a lot of like the 88 proof whiskey. You know, they
Yeah.
use a lot of like former like used barrels and stuff like that. We're big on going there and having gin Bloody Marys.
Okay.
Which I always thought Bloody Mary was like a vodka drink for the most part. But he said, man, once you try it with gin, you'll never go back. And I'm telling you, he was dead on. So they make real good gin. They make good cocktails. And they made a hot sauce, like ghost peppers and all the other stuff in
Oh
there,
wow.
in the Bloody Marys. And then they just started doing the 151 proof gin, which that's a fireball. Dude. I mean, it's so hot.
This is intriguing to hear me say from you because like your online presence is like Indiana bourbon.
Yeah.
Here's some cocktails.
Yeah.
But now knowing you have like bartending experience,
Yeah.
it changes that. It's not just like a bourbon bro finding like because sometimes you think you look at some people's pages and you're like, oh yeah, they're just trying to support a distillery that doesn't have much going for them, so they're posting a cocktail. But like knowing that you have bartending experience, like you legitimately appreciate that.
I do. Like I like finding stuff that's not usually my wheelhouse, but like how can I make this into something that like I'll really like? And, and with the gin and all that stuff from Hunt Club, besides being a phenomenal dude behind that brand, I mean he's a great guy. He's a fun dude. You ever spend some time talking to him? He's got stories after stories. Like he's so fun. And there's a antique shop in his distillery. Who else does that? You know what I mean? Like it's just a fun little spot.
Make a trip up there.
Yeah, they've got like music on the weekends.
Walk
all
around,
long.
spill your cocktail on Grandma's lamp.
They'll cut you a deal, I'm sure. But yeah, I love what they're doing up there at Hunt Club.
That's cool.
It. Yeah, and if you haven't had a Bloody Mary with gin, I suggest it. It's by far it'll kill the vodka.
So thinking about mixology and all that, being a bartender, what was your signature go-to cocktail that you made when you were a bartender?
When I was a bartender, we worked at a sports bar in the main event, so there was a lot of Jack and Cokes and stuff like that. But on my own,
hell of a Jack and Coke.
But Sazerac and Old Fashions have always been experimenting with like my whole life. Since I got into whiskey at all, so I'm always trying to find the next thing we can put into an old fashioned, like the. Dusty Barn Distillery makes a Christmas Nocino that we combine in our Old 55 Old Fashions, and I'm telling you, it's the greatest cocktail I've ever had in my entire life.
Oh, wow.
Like, it's just,
Where are they at?
Where's great? It's down like near Evansville.
Okay.
I guess. I've never been there either. It's another 2.5 hour drive. Somehow we're 2.5 hours from everywhere.
2.5 hours, yeah.
The one problem with our Indiana Bourbon Trail is that you can't go there in a day.
Yeah.
But the Christmas Nocino, I think is seasonal. They come out once a year, I think. And I've got a stockpile of it because you add that to an old fashioned, especially maybe with Old 55 barrel proof bourbon. It's my favorite cocktail I've ever had ever. We drink them all the time.
Wow.
All the time.
That's cool.
That is cool.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm a huge Sazerac fan. That's probably my favorite cocktail. And we do a bunch of different old fashions as well: tequila, rum, rye, bourbon. She does apple cider whiskey old fashioned, which is basically just fall in a glass with a cinnamon stick. She did a gin old fashioned with one of the distillers that come by here, and actually it was way better than I was expecting. So I mean, old fashioned, you could pretty much replace the liquor with anything, and it's going to come out something special. That's cool to hear that.
You would like this. I'm telling you, the Christmas Nocino is kind of like a gingerbread cookie type flavor.
Oh yeah,
okay.
Man, it's worth doing. It is worth doing.
Robbie, you better finish your glass. My glass is gonna dry out.
We're done.
Okay.
Want to do
have to get the breathalyzer out in a minute.
some 4-finger wheat
Do you have
whiskey?
it?
It's in the bag.
Okay.
We bought a breathalyzer so we can see on the show how bad we get.
It's always good to know where you're at.
Rob and I will end up with like 2-3 pours of every single thing that we do on this show. So
we've had a couple.
we don't record like 2 episodes in a row because Rob will end up talking in cursive by the end.
We
of the
did
thing.
that once.
Yeah.
We actually did.
I had to go do sound for VBS afterwards at the church.
We actually had
Best VBS I'd ever done.
bet,
it was a blast.
As far as you knew, it was great.
And the big issue with that day was we were doing 2 back-to-back episodes, and we couldn't figure out what our pairing was. So we had 3 pairings with each one of them. We had a lot
Couldn't
of
narrow
liquor.
it down.
And I had a lot of liquor. He
Well,
was actually pretty good.
I was good, and well, it was funny. Lisa texted me at like 6 that night, and she said, "Where's Rob?" And I said,
I was on that couch.
When I left, he was passed out on the couch.
Lisa zoomed in and said, "Oh, I see his legs hanging off the edge of the
That's
couch."
awesome.
Yeah, so
Yeah, that was a lot. That was a lot.
Yeah.
we get in trouble.
Luckily,
sometimes.
that was the day that we were closed, so it didn't really. I didn't have.
Well,
to
that
be
was
open.
when we
could
were
sleep on the
closed on
couch
Sundays.
Yes,
that was
yeah.
a while ago, and that episode is never released. Don't ask for it. It's,
No, apparently I
been
used the F word
deleted.
a lot in that show.
yeah. Yeah.
All right, so now we're doing the.
We'll
Four
post
fingers.
it to our OnlyFans.
Yeah.
That's what. So maybe you need to do an OnlyFans too.
I don't think that would make any money at all.
No, we're talking about doing an OnlyFans where we're just gonna be sitting back, smoking a cigar, drinking bourbon.
Oh, okay.
Just
he's gonna have his feet bare, so
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
have a little bit of that
You gotta
going.
get those people in there on it.
Maybe unbutton the shirt and have
Yeah.
a nipple hanging out or something.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
other than that,
That's
those
what I
people.
think Dan
Oh,
Kidd
yeah.
needs to do with this Chugs brand is like start an OnlyFans.
He
Of course,
should.
he lifts weights. Like that dude, he's fit, so he
Yeah.
can totally just do
Yeah,
shirtless
yeah.
bottle chugs. And I'll bet
telling
Bourbon
you.
Bros would pay for it on
Oh, I'm
OnlyFans.
sure.
I'm
Yeah.
telling you what, I don't know how that dude sitting there running those minis and stuff like that
Yes.
stops and chugs a bottle. I'm like, what the? I would be puking.
Well, and like meeting him, he's a monster.
He's a
like
big dude.
he is not built for running.
No, he's not.
He is so buff that he like I don't know.
Ooh,
Yeah.
So what
that's
is
actually
this?
pretty good. This is the Four Fingers 1205.
The wheat whiskey.
119.8 wheat whiskey.
And I'm not a wheat guy, and that's actually
Yeah.
got some good flavor to it. I mean, we are 4 pours in.
That is really nice. Wow.
I had no idea they had 6-year-old stuff there.
No.
And they released this wheat whiskey and then a bourbon, 6-year-old bourbon like a month or two later.
That's got some really great color for a wheat.
So is
My
there
gosh.
is the rye still called Four Finger Rye or
Yeah, I believe
okay.
so. Yeah.
So
So they've rebranded everything.
Everything. Yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
Yep.
I remember trying that from them like at first and I was like, this is solid. It will be more solid in a year or so.
Yeah. Yep.
But of course that was 2 years ago. That was like at the start of COVID where I got bored and was just like, I better try these Indiana brands.
And it's appreciated.
Yeah.
But like they've hit 6 years on the bourbon, on the wheat. And I'm not sure if the rye's hit 6 years or not. But I'm with you. I think their rye was the best thing they were making.
Yeah.
But this wheat whiskey, I didn't even know they were making it all.
It's good.
I mean, that being
Very
said,
fine.
rye typically comes of age
Yeah.
in quotation
Ages
marks.
faster.
Yeah, quicker than a bourbon, and I do think wheated bourbons or wheat whiskeys do take until that like 6-year mark
Yeah.
before they're really good.
Because there's just so much out there that is really good that's wheat. So like you
Yeah.
can't come in like real young and be
Uh-uh.
like, hey, like no, it doesn't work that way.
So continuing to talk about more distilleries in Indiana, have you ever had anything from, is it Three Rivers up in Fort Wayne?
Three Rivers, yes.
What do you think of their stuff? Because I've only had one, and it was a little underwhelming.
It's pretty young stuff. Like
But
they've been around.
They've only been around for a couple of years.
The branding
It's
was
been-
great though.
It was.
which you can't say for a lot of Indiana
Yeah,
brands.
Right.
Cardinal Spirits.
They need a new label. That's all we're saying.
Well, do not. All I'm saying with Cardinal Spirit is do not put out a single barrel bourbon with a green label.
Yeah.
Just like,
Yeah.
Don't
before
do
it's-
that.
It's a rye.
yeah.
I'm sorry. The little freaking triangle looks like it should be on the bottom shelf at Walmart.
Yeah.
Come on, guys. You can do better
Rebrand.
than that.
Yeah, you're doing
At least
good
put a
stuff now.
freaking bird on the label or something.
I mean, there is a
Spirits.
bird on the back.
It's a little tiny
yeah,
guy.
but no one knows. No one
Yeah.
cares.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Hey, hire the guy from Three Floyds.
Dude, he'll put some like dragons and stuff
Yeah.
on the label.
You're not shy on graphics.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah.
good label
Actually,
they've got.
Yeah,
Did you know
Three
that they-
Floyds looks like stuff that should be flash and a tattoo.
Do you know the
Right.
the old Three Floyd stuff? The guy that actually was making that is now doing it for Pax Verum, and that's why all their labels look so amazing.
It doesn't
Same
surprise
guy.
me.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep. He
Hey,
rebranded them
Cardinal,
all.
I'll bet you could get him to freelance for you.
I'm sure
Came in whiskey.
they need to do something. I mean,
They got great stuff, and that's the only reason we care about their label.
Yeah.
right. I mean, if they would change their, I mean, and again, it's all about shelf appeal. If you have something that looks good, it's at least going to get your eye to make you want to think about trying
Yeah.
it.
You're gonna pick it up, look at it. at
If it
least.
looks like
I mean, that's the
crap,
thing with Castle and Key. That's a beautiful bottle.
badass bottle.
I hate the bourbon. Like
Yeah.
I just think it's underwhelming for the price.
It feels young.
Yeah.
It's very young.
Yeah.
But
There are people who love it. I mean, I know Will's wife Becky absolutely loves batch
that
1 and 2.
that heavy metal cork, like everything.
Badass.
It's wonderful marketing.
Yeah.
Okay, what was your question before we got on
Three
that?
Rivers. Three
yeah,
Rivers.
Three Rivers.
I don't know they've got anything over a couple of years old. So,
Okay.
And there's some distilleries in this state where I'm thinking like, why not? Right? Like at some point, whiskey needs to be a certain age, bourbon and all that, to be really appealing to the masses. But I also haven't been up there. I know they've got an incredible like cocktail following and food and all that stuff. So maybe that's what they want to be. You know what I mean?
Could be,
Maybe they
could
don't
be.
want to have the 10-year-old whiskey one day.
Yeah.
But I do think most of their stuff I've had from them was 6 months to like 18 months, something like that. And it's just it's tough to compete in this market when everyone else is hitting 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years.
Yeah.
in the state, you know what I mean? So maybe they've got stuff they're sitting on. Maybe they just want it to be like great when they do it. But as far as I know, they haven't released anything the past 2 years.
And that's our hard thing with Indiana Whiskey Co. Because when you find one of those 15-gallon barrels, like
the one we did.
we did, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
But marketing a barrel that's under a year is hard to do.
It's tough.
Yeah.
It doesn't sell itself on a shelf.
Yeah,
Yeah, because did you ever have that inaugural barrel of ours?
I did. No.
It was just a year old. Not quite a year old, I think.
Do you have one
Wow.
in the back?
I don't. Actually, I have a little bit left. I'll make sure. I'll let you try what's left of it. There's a little bit left. But it was the best thing they've ever done.
Yeah.
But they didn't have the vision of selling barrel proof. They're like, oh, we can make more money if we proof it down. I'm like, charge more.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, people will buy this. If they would have started with that, I think they would be in the scene right now.
Of course, they also the visionary behind the company was not plugged in with the Bourbon Bro circles.
Right.
You know?
He was a hell of a distiller.
Yeah.
He had no idea the market he was selling to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's tough because the bourbon
And their white dog.
Their white dog's
fantastic.
Yeah.
Maybe one of the best white dogs I've ever had in my
I
life.
think so. I would put it up there with Jason's.
Really?
Serious.
That's
Easy.
high praise right there.
Yeah.
Easy, yeah.
Because Jason's forever was my absolute favorite.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
But I will tell you, Matt at Indiana Whiskey Co.
Which he's
sold
not-
me.
I've heard he's not there anymore.
Okay, I don't know who it went to, but he sold me a 750 of their white dog because I liked it so
Allegedly,
much.
Yeah, we all
allegedly, if that's
we
not
all bought
allowed.
one.
Allegedly, allegedly it happened.
Yeah. We dipped the bottles down and just it was great.
Yeah.
Fantastic experience.
That's actually how he and I met. I don't know if you knew that or
Is it
not.
really?
Yeah.
We were on a barrel pick for the
Indiana Bourbon
Club.
Yeah.
And everybody picked one barrel, and he and I were the only two that picked the other
thing
barrel.
is, Indiana Bourbon Club is not affiliated with you.
Yes.
No relation.
Just
That-
I get that question
all the time, and,
all the
and
time.
vice versa.
Yeah.
Vice versa. I mean, I always ask people because I'll have pickups from you and from the Bourbon Club, and I'm like, which one are you? And I say, are you Indiana Bourbon Club? Yeah. Dirk. I'm like, no, that's Indiana Bourbon. I have to explain to them.
Which
It's confusing.
It is
talking to
confusing.
Cole, he said, I didn't even know Dirk existed. If
Yeah.
I would have known when we started this, he said, I would have chosen another name.
Well,
Yeah.
and
All
granted,
good.
Cole was really getting into it because he was getting into bourbon and he wanted to create a community to bring people together around something he was learning about. He had no idea at that time. So
And people always ask why I haven't started a club of any kind. I thought, well, Naptown and Indiana Bourbon Club are doing it so good. Like, there's not a need for anybody else. I don't
the bottom
think,
line
you
is,
know?
dude, you're already busy enough.
Yeah, I don't need anything
can't
else to do.
I don't
So-
know how you do what you do.
She does most of the doings for me. So without her, I'd be sunk. So
Well, that makes a lot more
Yeah,
sense because
yeah.
I'm like, I know the other day you were, and again,
Man, is that you trying to tell us your glasses
my
empty?
glasses.
I'm not empty.
Damn. He already said he's a police officer, and I knew you were dropping off some stuff one day. Well, he texts me and says, "Hey, I'm gonna run a little bit late. I'm on a SWAT mission right now." I'm like,
in between
dude's busier
whiskey, we do
than
some
hell.
whiskey and
I remember the first time I met up with Dirk, we were in like a Menards parking
Yeah.
lot. Next thing I know, a police SUV rolls up next to me, and I was like,
that
"What is
okay?
this about?"
by the way, is that okay to leave in? I don't want to get you in trouble. Okay.
No, that's
Okay.
fine.
Okay.
It's
So straight up, and then I saw Dirk, and I was like, "Oh yeah, he's an officer."
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, yeah.
I just did not put two and two together.
Yeah. But no, it's a good time. But it's busy. It's definitely
I
busy
bet.
right now.
I
So,
bet. Well, and I mean,
Well, you're basically at
you're
club at
killing
this
it.
point without the social gatherings.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
For the most part.
Of course, you're showing up to enough social gatherings that you.
Yeah.
well, and
yeah.
that's the thing. Most clubs are going to be anywhere from a couple hundred members to 4,000 or 5,000 members. You got 30,000 followers.
Yeah, and
that'd be hard to build a club around 30,000
It
people.
is. And the tough part is that in this state, you can't ship spirits. So it's like
Right.
people that want things can't get them. I'm hoping at some point Indiana kind of comes around and realizes that
They got it.
they're hurting local and family-owned businesses by not letting people ship and all that. So We're hoping. We're working on ways to do it. There's different people out there that will ship for you, but like to raise any money for charity, you're going to lose it all trying to ship all that. So.
Indiana's so far behind all that. Same with tobacco. I mean, that's one of the things I had on the docket for today was talking about the taxes. They're trying to change the taxes on tobacco, and the state can't get past the fact that, oh my God, tobacco's evil, as opposed to realizing if they change this tax, they're going to make more money as a state because all the low-end cigars that are 90% of the sales in our state are the ones that are going to make all your money now. They just can't get past the fact that, oh, we're going to lose $250,000 if we change this tax. You're going to gain about $700,000 on the lower end stuff. There's a balance there.
But really, the thing is with that is that's a move to support small businesses. Yeah. There comes a certain point with every single cigar that we can't compete with Cigars International and Thompson and Atlantic and all that stuff because they're in no tax states.
Which they're basically like
they're like cigar Amazon.
They're like Amazons,
yeah. It's like people buy in bulk there and they buy one or two here. But if you were to,
you guys better catch up.
Oh my goodness. I'm enjoying this 1205.
I was too, but I was really far behind on the other one, so I jumped ahead.
But yeah,
see, changing that law, he knows how to take it down when he needs to.
Changing that law supports small business. So
no,
do you care about us?
And you know, as much as states claim that they're trying to support small business, they really aren't. I mean, it is so much work as a small business to figure things out, and
I mean, even within the county,
every county's different, every state's different, and then I mean, you have 3 different things. You got your city, you got your four. You got your city, your county, your state, and then you got national. And all those things are working against small business. And
so
you just got to figure it out.
Dirk, what are we drinking right now?
Hard Truth, Sweet Mash Rye. It's the chocolate malt release they did. There was a chocolate malt, a caramel malt, and then just a malted rye. I think they put out.
It is. Is this their distillate?
Yes,
it is.
It's just over 2 years, I believe, and just an 8-barrel batch. So,
and this one, when we were at the distillery a few weeks ago. This one actually, if I remember right, has a very distinct cocoa note in it. I mean, very, very distinct.
Yeah, and I think the percentage of chocolate malt is very low. It's like 11, 12%, something like that. So, but the flavors really good. Come through. Of the three, this is my favorite one by far. But
yeah, I bounced between this one and the caramel malt.
Yeah.
Both of them are really good.
Wow. That's a great pairing with this cigar, too, because this cigar has a lot of those chocolate notes in it.
It really does.
But there's a lot of distilleries playing with chocolate malt.
Yeah.
I know Starlight was doing a chocolate malted rye that they threw in VDN barrels.
Yeah.
And one of the few that got out there ended up being a Rare Bird 101 pick, which he's a wild turkey guy.
Yeah.
You know, he wrote, I think the book's called America's Spirit, which is basically a love letter to wild turkey.
Right, yeah.
But somehow I managed into one of those bottles, and that's one of my favorite VDN finishes I've got.
Have I had that?
If you haven't, I'll bring it.
All right. I can't remember if I've had that
or not. No, I won't bring it to the shop. I'll definitely give you a pour, though.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
A little behind the scenes on the 3 maple barrels that we tried at Starlight before we picked the one. 2 of them were, I believe, a chocolate malt at one time.
Oh, really?
Also, so it's chocolate malt. You could really pick out the chocolate malt in it, but I like the traditional, like the straight maple. Like I'm a sweeter, not too sweet, but sweeter, like bourbon kind of guy.
That's me too. Where he's more of the medicinal ryes, I'm more on the sweeter bourbons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of you see those staples coming out after mine, like those are both have the chocolate malt in them, and they're pretty.
That's one thing that's kind of fun about this show is he and I have a lot of similarities in our palates, but we also the things we love the most.
I think we can pick out
ends.
similar notes, but
we do. I mean, we both appreciate the different things that we like, but like he's like that Old Bones.
Yeah.
I mean, I literally took a sip of it and I poured it out and said, nope, that's not our pick.
That's my jam.
I liked it, but I knew it was not a barrel pick for us.
Well,
he's like, let's keep going. Pour some more,
Well, I remember even leaving that pick that day. I told
him.
I told the guys from Crossroads, and I said, hey, you let me know where this barrel ends up because I want to buy bottles.
Right. Actually, the label they used for that was the same label they used on a Naptown pick.
Okay.
And that's why it didn't say cognac on it, because it was one they had to repurpose.
Yeah,
On your
Naptown, I'm just letting you know, you lost out. The cognac finish, way better.
Oh,
No, actually, their pick is fantastic.
It is.
The Old Bones
that's
Naptown
what's
pick
That's
is great.
unbelievable. Yeah.
But-
again, you got a place like Backbone. They source everything. They unapologetically source everything, but their finishing is amazing.
It is.
I mean, that trip. I don't know if you've had that.
I mean,
that triple, the light whiskey
Yes. Yeah.
is finished in the Imperial Stout barrels. That's freaking amazing. I mean,
It's
they're
a
doing some
whopper.
great. It's 130 proof whoppers, 127 proof whoppers.
Yeah, straight
It's
up.
so good. And I love what they're doing with different things. That's why, I mean, we fell in love with the barrel we picked, but the one he picked was super special. I mean, how often are you going to find a 17-year-old Canadian rye finishing cognac barrels?
Yeah.
Never.
Absolutely never.
Well, and
Yep.
the other thing is that I loved about Backbone, which they are in Indiana, but they're completely a sourced brand, is that on that pick, you can ask them anything. We asked them where that Imperial Stout barrel came from.
Yeah.
Actually, so we have 3 whiskeys on our bar that came from that pick. That light whiskey, which the distributor bought, because we were like, this is great. This is not our pick, but this is fantastic. We got our pick, and now we have my bottle.
Yeah.
And-
Which,
but
that didn't happen very often when you do a pick and you end up getting to get your 3 top barrels and you get them on the bar.
Never.
That's pretty freaking amazing.
So, but really, that they're so upfront, because I asked them, like, that Old Bones rye, I said, is that Alberta? And they told me exactly where it was from, and it wasn't. Like, which, I don't know. Not everybody who's sourcing is willing to be upfront about where the barrels are coming from.
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
So I don't know if you want to.
It's from a general distillery in Tennessee. It happens not to be Cascade Hollow.
Huh, I wonder who that is. Yeah. So I don't know if you want to get into this, and if you don't, we can just chop it, whatever. I know you've been talking about getting into a nonprofit, going to.
Yeah.
Is that something you want to bring up in the show? If you don't, that's fine. We can cut it.
Oh, we can do that.
All right.
Sure.
Because I mean, that's something I think a lot of clubs don't realize you get into. I mean, because you got hit with some pretty heavy taxes.
Yeah.
Because we're in the wonderful state of Indiana that
We
loves their
are.
taxes.
We are.
So I mean, is that something you want to get into? Maybe
Yeah, we can
clubs
talk
could
about
learn
it.
from a little bit.
Like, we thought last year, after the Noah and Tier both got killed, that we were going to raise money regardless, right? We didn't have any funds set up, no charity, have no experience at all with any kind of charity, anything. Made some donations over the years. That's it.
Yeah.
But we thought, let's do something here and let's see what we can come up with. So obviously what we were doing at the time was kind of running through our own personal stuff, because it just happened. There was no like heads up on these kind of things. You know, they just kind of took place. So we thought, well, let's just raise money right now and get these families some cash to help with that, whatever they need to have help with. So come tax time 2023, we realized that all this stuff showed as income.
You're like, oh shit.
Yeah, which I kind of knew would happen, but at the same time, like there's a certain threshold of like $20,000 you gotta like you can work with without having to claim that stuff on your taxes.
Yeah.
Well, we more than doubled that. So come tax time, income tax came out of my pocket for these charity
And it
things.
came, and that would be self-employment.
Yeah.
Well, and to back up a little bit too, you're not taking a bottle you get for $325 and marking it up to $400 and
No.
making profit.
No.
You're literally just like passing it on.
Yeah.
So not only is he giving these bottles out for people to buy, he's paying taxes on this stuff out of his own freaking pocket, which he's a police officer. He doesn't make crazy money where this is actually just easy.
Yeah, it was a tough tax season this year. So what we decided to do is start this 501c3 where we're going to run all the things, and we've got the account is nearly set up, but we're going everything. Yeah, we had some banking issues. We're getting there, but the filing for 501c3 was easy, but doing everything after that has been tough so far. So if you think about doing a charity thing or your barrel leases or whatever going to go to a charity cause, do this first. For your
Yeah.
own sake, for your own finances. If you're a cop with a kid, I'm telling you, do this first. So what we've got now is a 501c3, non-tax deductible, all those things. So we're doing it right as of now. But last year took a big hit. So I would do it again. What the money we raised was phenomenal. I mean, way beyond what we thought we could do with this. But if you have any intentions of doing any kind of charity work, start the charity first. That makes sense, right?
I'll tell you what, and I'm probably going way off the rails here on this, but I think we need to come up with some kind of a like GoFundMe for you got 30,000 freaking followers. If everyone dropped in $10 on that, your taxes are covered.
No, we're fine. We're fine.
I know you are.
We
but
started to
come on.
realize that halfway into it, I thought I need to put something aside here because, you know. And
I don't
it's
know.
fine.
The wife's over there going, that sounds like a
She's
great
like,
idea.
But no, we got through it and it's fine. The taxes got filed. Everything's good.
Yeah.
But going forward,
Dirk, that still sucks though.
it sucked, but at the same time, like it's worth doing. Like when these
Yeah.
things happen, like to see the community that rallied behind these people.
Are you gonna
Yes.
do a barrel pick that helps your tax situation at all from last year?
You need a urban tax fund,
Dude, nobody would care.
And
No.
and the thing is, we're kind of joking here a little bit.
Yeah.
Not really, but we're kind of joking here. But this guy's one of the most humble people I've ever met. He is. Doing
would
this
not
all
ask.
for the 100% for the right reasons, and it's like to hear that you got hurt so bad on taxes sucks because you did this for all the right reasons, and you're
I'm
paying
telling you,
for
like,
it.
financially, it was bad, but like it was bad.
I'm
But-
fine. Financially, terrible. Like,
His wife just fell off of her stool over there. That's okay.
No, but I think what the cause that it created, I think was worth every penny. And I'm telling you, like to pay to watch people respond like they did would be worth every cent to me. So
Yeah.
the way the community, not just cops, but like people like you guys that came together and like gave us a place to like distribute these things from.
well, can we do like a stick it to the man raffle for you?
Got to do something, man.
I don't know.
I'm serious. I would love to find a way to, and again, I know how humble you are. I know your character is above reproach.
Yeah.
But nobody else was gonna do that.
Nobody was
Well,
going to do that.
But
Well,
people got involved, and that's what we wanted. And
Yeah.
I think going forward, like it take one rough tax season to make this into like a movement like it is worth it for me. So
good.
no, we're good. We're fine. We're doing just fine.
But if you want to contribute, you let us know.
You
We'll
let
find a
us
way
know.
to-
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure out a way to contribute.
We may
to this
do a
guy.
stick it to the man
We need
raffle
to do
for Dirk.
something. We do need to, yes.
Because they're doing all this stuff.
You can say no
and
all
it
you
doesn't
want to.
sound like he's making anything from it.
No.
It was an expensive cause, but a cause worth the expense. That makes
Oh, we,
Well, and I mean,
we
things like
understand that.
that sweet corn barrel. I mean, that
Yeah.
was a $325 bottle, and you're building these amazing, badges to put on that stuff. That costs money. All the money you put into this, plus distributing, plus you're driving around, spending money on gas and time to deliver this stuff. It's costing you money. I mean, there's got
But
to
like
be a way.
when
to
you
get
guys,
money
when you
on that.
started a business here, like there's just those upfront costs you just got to do, and
There
that, to
are.
me that's what it was. It was an upfront cost, and
But
now
the
that we're
difference is
rolling-
I'm making income as a business. You're not.
no, but we're good
Dirk,
now.
the
We're
only
good.
reason we say this is because we care about you.
We
and
really
want this
do.
to go
We really
on.
do. I do
We
agree.
love what you're doing.
Yeah.
We love the cause. We love everything about what you're doing. That's why we wanted you on here because we wanted
Hey,
to talk about.
throw your
this.
Cash App or your Venmo and your Instagram profile, please. We'll get people to
We
throw
do need
you
to find a way
Start
to do
selling
that.
feet pics or whatever. Like, no.
on Feet Finder.
Only fans. Dirk fans. Only
Yeah.
fans.
But I did want to mention that working with Jason Fruit's Old 55 Distillery, the plan is right now, June 17th, we're going to do a fundraiser all for the End of Watch Legacy Fund Foundation. So we're going to try to do like a silent auction table. We're going to do a barrel pick ahead of time and just kind of have like a place for cops and community kind of come together and raise some funds for the charity.
Are you gonna do like a full dinner or something? Or
we got some food trucks coming, some barbecue
That's
stuff
awesome.
like that.
It's great.
So
Perfect.
we're in the early stages, but it looks like June 17th we're going to do a big bash out there. So if we can get you guys, we're looking for vendors and people set up
Always.
booths and kind of all that stuff.
That's great.
So,
We're a part of it for sure.
yeah.
Yep.
Well, and I'll throw this out to you right now too. I know we've talked about it. If you ever want to do some kind of an event here, we're here for you. We definitely want to be a part of that too. So
you guys have been priceless. Like I said, I mean, this last barrel with the cigar batch we did, that was just Danville pickup only. Well, my wife's shop there in the boutique. I got so many people like, man, like why not final third? It's like, well, we were just busy and like there wasn't a lot of bottles. So we thought we'd try to.
Wait, people were asking for final third?
No, they were demanding final third. They were
Oh
like,
my goodness!
Well,
I didn't realize people cared.
Oh,
a
they
lot
care.
of the guys,
They care.
a lot of the officers from over in Richmond area
Yes.
and on the east side of the state were like, I'm so glad I can come here and
Yeah.
not have to drive to Danville to get the
Yeah.
bottles. And obviously in Indiana you can't ship,
Right.
so you have to make that choice. And I think by being closer now, if there was a place in Richmond, it'd probably be even amazing too.
Right, yeah.
But
you guys have been priceless
is
on this
closer
thing.
for them,
it
yeah.
was with Sierra and with Noah's stuff. Like they were all much closer to you guys than they were to us where we live. So without
Yeah.
you guys, we wouldn't raise half the money we did. And I really appreciate being
and
able
Noah's
to do that.
family
So-
doesn't live too far from here, right?
They're in Fishers.
Fishers, yeah.
Fishers.
So I mean 15 minutes
So,
away.
Yeah.
legitimately, Dirk, we're just storing stuff for you.
But but if you didn't, I couldn't move it. You know what I mean? So like it would be
I gotcha.
the 2-hour drive. And some people would make it, but like it's just not. It's a 4-hour round trip for most people that wanted these bottles. And
Right.
for you guys, it's like 45 minutes each way, which is doable. You know what I mean? So it means a lot to us. And it really the success of this thing. It was an idea I had, and then everybody else made it happen. You know what I mean? Like I had an idea. I'm like, well, let's see if we can make something out
Yeah.
of this. And then people like you guys made it work.
Well, great ideas have a way to find people that want to be a part of it.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the things you have going is like everybody wants to somehow get in on Indiana bourbon
Yeah. And it's
help
been
out
great.
with whatever it
has.
is. So, I mean, it's a great cause, great people. We're excited to be a part of it
Yeah.
for sure.
Well, thank
so,
you very much.
No, thank you, man.
Yeah.
So, you have any more tasting notes on the cigar?
This cigar, we completely blew past the second third, but it doesn't really matter. In the final third, you get into more of those toasty chocolate notes.
Absolutely.
The retrohale ends up being a little bit more red pepper. It's not super spicy red pepper,
No.
but it definitely enters into that. Now I kind of wish we had this Hard Truth chocolate malted rye here because it's a beautiful.
I can check into that and see. I don't know if that was distributed or not.
I'll bet not.
I don't think so. Because I was talking to him down there about that. And I think that was one of the ones that didn't make it. It was the 2 malt ryes we had here.
Yeah. What you got, Rob?
Same.
Okay.
I mean, I'm getting a lot of baking spices. It's definitely kicked up on the spice level a little bit too. I mean, I'll be honest. Every bourbon on here has gone great with a cigar. So I'm thinking, this is definitely a cigar you can put with about any bourbon you want. Honestly, this cigar might go really well with some other spirits like the scotches and tequilas as well.
Yeah.
Really, really nice too. So
Could totally see that. Dirk, thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah,
And thanks
man.
for having me, guys.
We appreciate
Absolutely.
you, bud.
Yeah.
Hey, and you guys, if we post like a Dirk Fentz raffle, don't be surprised.
yeah, we're gonna do something.
I
We're gonna do
appreciate you
something.
guys. I
Yes,
do.
yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you for having me.
I mean, anything else you want to add? Is there anything
Yeah.
else? that
Any
you're-
shout outs you got?
You wanna
for
talk about?
yourself? Personal plugs.
We still got some time, so if you have anything
I
else,
think we covered a lot of it. Like I said, the Bourbon Awards are coming up this fall. Hope you guys follow that. Like to me, it's a great time. We get to retry for the most part everything that's kind of came out in this state this year. The End of Watch Legacy Fund is going to be doing a lot of fundraising. We're still hoping to have a bunch of money just kind of like put aside in case we ever need it, and God forbid we ever do. The Old 55 event, June 17th. It's going to be a good time. We're going to have some local distilleries giving out some for auction, some really fun bottles. We think some rare stuff. So
cool.
but yeah, no, I just appreciate what you guys are doing, letting us come out here and hang out.
No,
Well,
this
thanks
has
for
been
coming
great.
on the show.
Yeah,
Honestly, it's a pretty big deal even to have you on here.
yeah,
Like,
it really is. It
all
is.
the things that you're doing in the name that you are in the community, like you mention to anyone in Indiana about Indiana bourbon, I mean, most people don't even know your name's Dirk.
Right, yeah.
But most people don't know Sarah.
Yeah.
But having you on here, fantastic.
Yeah.
I love that you're upfront and like ready to talk about everything you're doing, and you're doing great stuff for the community, and especially in that Into Watch Legacy Fund. It's amazing.
Yeah, and I mean, if you haven't already and you're following us, definitely get on Instagram or Facebook and follow Indiana Bourbon. Again, you're going to get in on some really awesome bottles, but you're really more about the legacy that's coming behind it, and I think it's going to continue. I don't see you stopping anytime soon.
No, we're going to keep going.
But again, the more the stuff is bought, the more you're able to continue to do it.
Yeah,
the better it's going to be going forward. Thank you again for everything you're doing. We really appreciate it. Where can people reach out to you if they want to follow you or reach out to you? Is there? And that's one thing I was going to ask you too. Is there an actual page for Indiana Watch, or is it all through Indiana Bourbon?
Not yet. It's all through Indiana Bourbon right now because that's where all the eyes kind of go. We're working on quite a few. I mean, I'm telling you, like, the behind the scenes busy stuff right now is super busy. So we're trying to get a page going just for that. We're going to try to do things where a lot of the barrel picks will go through people that have supported the charity in the past first. So like, kind of keeps me. You should reward people that have been following you and supporting you the whole time. So we're working on things on that angle. So that also don't cost you anything to do. So. But right now, Indiana Bourbon at Indiana Bourbon on Instagram and Indiana Bourbon on Facebook is where you can find me. I tried TikTok. I was terrible at it. So don't worry about that page.
That's okay.
TikTok's a whole different animal, man.
It is.
Well, you can find me at the Whiskey Pastor.
And you can find me on Instagram at Final Third Cigar. Our Facebook page is Final Third Cigar and Whiskey Lounge. YouTube channel, Final Third Cigar and Whiskey Lounge. All the podcast platforms. Yeah. Again, thank you so much. Yeah. We look forward to doing something else with you here, going down the road too, and continue it up. So, thanks a lot, buddy. Appreciate you.
Cool.
All right. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
Cheers to you, buddy.